UMass has gone 16-98 over the last decade, but I feel like this is the year where things could finally change. I decided to start an impossible rebuild with the Minutemen where we can only recruit players from the Northeast region. We have to face 10 top 25 teams every season, and I'm playing on the hardest sliders on the hardest difficulty. Stuff like that to really challenge my rebuilding skills. We just lost our star player of the series, Brandon Hood, to graduation, so without him at running back, how is this going to be the season where everything changes? Well, we've been able to bring in the most talent that this team has ever seen, and although Von Meekins isn't our highest overall quarterback, we're going to continue to roll with him as our starter because he is the strongest arm. That sacrifice might not pay off, so he's going to be fighting for his starting job throughout this entire season, where we have to give him some grace because this is a schedule that no player ever wants to see. Last year, Von Meekins threw 23 interceptions. That's basically 2 a game, so we're hoping that that can change, especially because even though we don't know which players we're going to put hours into yet this season, it's spread out across all sorts of different positions at the moment. We do know that we're not recruiting any quarterbacks. We'll figure all that recruiting stuff after the game against Louisville, though, where we're headed to Cardinal Stadium. And you might see their team overall and think, oh, they're nothing crazy. They have 2 quarterbacks above a 90 overall that they could rotate between. Doesn't even matter if one gets injured. They have a 95 speed receiver. I'm terrified to see their running back, but it's not that great. So what we have to fear is if they decide to throw the ball, which I imagine they will. You don't have a 92 overall quarterback in Earl Ruffin that is a pocket passer if he's not going to be slinging the rock. And so even though our defensive back group is probably the most improved position group of our entire team compared to last year, I don't have much faith in them. It doesn't really matter though. All my excitement is for us kicking off this season. I have high hopes. The past couple years, we've won 3 games each time, but I feel like this could be the year that we take another step forward. My goal with this team is bowl eligibility. We don't know if it'll actually happen, especially the way we're currently covering these guys. But we have been able to bring in some new good recruits that are making their debut. We got a 5-star linebacker in Scipio. We got a new junior user over the middle as well at free safety. He could get back to this ball, or he could give up the touchdown. So Earl Ruffin just sliced apart our defense. Gold gets his first carry ever at running back. Last season, Darren Gold was our wide receiver 4 after transferring into this team, but we decided that he was ultimately better off just running the football for us since it was a position of need. We're trying to replace Brandon Hood, who was probably the best running back that UMass is going to see for a while. I like the broken tackle. But anyway, just replacing someone of that caliber is typically pretty hard to do. We had transfers that wanted to come here that just did not impress, though we got a new tight end as well. Another kid that was a receiver for us, Thad Wade, we got him to put on some weight and moved him over to that position. So we're seeing the most effective our offense has been this entire rebuild so far. Thad Wade is in the end zone. I just love how much of a mismatch he can be. But Ben Nava, our junior kicker that has never missed an extra point before in his career, just missed his first. He's an 85 overall. I thought I didn't even need to kick it for him. Clearly we do. And a missed extra point could be a real difference maker in this game. If you've been following the series closely, there is a reason UMass is the worst team over the last decade. We always seem to find ways to lose. On 3rd down, they're going to have a corner route. We just couldn't cover both of those guys with the corner. So the Cardinals keep their hopes at getting another touchdown alive. So far, Earl Ruffin has been just as dangerous as I expected him to be, but we're going to get the interception with Sharp. This is another kid that transferred in, and we might just have a pick 6. Now, he's getting hawked down. We know this receiver has 95 speed. He can't escape him. But the junior cornerback has given the Minutemen some hope against the Cardinals. And it was about time that we got to pull out this hat again. Damian Sharp could be a very special player for us. Bryce Kroom can't go anywhere. Although he doesn't develop quickly, that was the first 5-star that we ever brought in. We got to run for gold. It'll make it 3rd and 6 as we head into the start of the 2nd quarter. And one thing I thought we did really well last season was just getting guys out in space, allowing them to make a move, but we're not in. This is on Von Meekins. Either he is going to sneak it into the end zone or we're going to be short. Sophomore quarterback's not messing that up, though. He doesn't want to lose his starting job. It's also a little early to chase points, but I would like to make up for the fact that we didn't get the extra point, though that's where his accuracy problems are going to be a major issue for us. Here on 2nd and 7, Louisville going back to the air. They probably want this slant. We had him locked up right there, but he still caught it. It's nothing new for UMass. It's something we've struggled with a lot in this rebuild. We could have had another interception. I can't believe that Earl Ruffin even made that read. He forced it. They didn't need to. Running away from the ball, Alfonso Tutt just let it bounce. It turned out to be the right decision, but it also could have backfired on us. I was hoping this dive would get more than a yard. Darren Gold's not going to be perfect, though. He still needs to get a lot better with some of his vision. And there's true freshman receiver Enrique Catran. He was a 4-star commit that we were able to get out of New Jersey. Being restricted to just recruiting in the Northeast, New Jersey has been the hub where most of our talented players come from. Though I'm very upset, there was a 5-star from New Hampshire, and then there was a 4-star from Rhode Island, the only prospects in those states we could recruit this year. Except here's the catch. They had deal breakers that wouldn't even allow us to get our chance at them. So we got Von Meekins taken off. We can worry about recruiting later. But don't be surprised if I touch on it after this game. We have Cam Locke playing in the slot this season. He is our best receiver. And I noticed last season that was who got a lot of our touches. So I want to give him the opportunity to have them himself. For 3rd and goal, I think you give it to your 6'4" quarterback that has a little bit of speed. Von Meekins increasing his by 2 in the offseason was crucial. And let's see what Louisville is going to do in these final 2 minutes. They're obviously going to be looking to get it within a possession. But they might just continue to struggle offensively. A quick read's going to set them up on a 3rd and 9. We're stuck on the 5-star that just gave up the first. Sakai Sippo needs to be better than that. He could have just given up that route as well. Coming down onto the running back, he misses his tackle. And he also has normal development, so I'd much rather use somebody like Tim Gold that we've been able to lean on in recent years. He's now a junior. He's a lot quicker. We can get to the ball with him. They keep on going back to the flat. Just got to knock him down. And force them to punt with a stop on 3rd and 3. I didn't think that he was going to read it like that. But look at him staying on his feet to get out of bounds. We're struggling with Earl Ruffin at the moment. Culliver gave up another 10. And they're not going to do it in this spot, but I don't think Louisville's run the football basically this entire half. How are we getting burnt there? He might have been a 5-star recruit, but that doesn't mean he won't bust. That's what happened with Bryce Kroom. And we still got 30 seconds left in this half. We're going to go with a quick quarterback draw. I highly doubted they were going to expect a run out of on. But the rest of this half, to make sure we get in field goal range, we are obviously going to be throwing the rock that is just in range for Gold to catch it. And that's the true beauty in having somebody as your running back that played receiver last season. We just threw that into 4 guys. I think it's safe to say Von Meekins is still struggling a little bit with some of his reads, but we just handed this ball off. I felt like Louisville was going to keep their pass defense out there. We just wanted to set up to go up by 8. And so far, even though we were a little worried about Darren Gold's athleticism, especially his top-end speed, I feel like he's been pretty good for us. He is very small for a running back. That's the one thing that could be an issue, though on 3rd and 5, we were waiting for Cam Locke to get open, and this is why we wanted the kid out of the slot. I will say, though, having him in the slot, it means that Bryce Kroom is going to be on the outside, and he typically doesn't get open. Louisville should have picked that. That could have actually been catastrophic for us, but they weren't aware of the RPO. We're going to make one man miss with Wade. He gets another man missing. And I am playing this season right after I finished up season 3. I didn't do very well in some of those final games, but this year the offense is just flowing. It feels so much better. We haven't figured out if it's to our credit, though, or if Louisville's just a little bit overrated. On 3rd down, we look over in Thad's direction. He had 2 guys on him, but it's okay. Ben Nava can miss an extra point. He's not missing this 45-yarder. That'll put us up by 2 possessions. Louisville immediately coming out, throwing the rock. Looks like they're going to take a sack. No, there's no sack, but I think part of that has to do with our defensive line. Might have gotten a little bit worse. We lost our best rusher, Elijah Newby, to graduation. He ended up making the Jets practice squad, so he was near NFL talent, but we'll see how the rest of his career pans out anyway. And the important takeaway from that is when you lose a player of that caliber, you're typically going to regress a little bit. 92 speed is going to not finish the job, but it sure sets the Cardinals up well. Not going to be a run on this play. In fact, Earl Ruffin takes the sack, and that is a major deal. Louisville might get held to just a field goal. It's what we're hoping for. This is it. 3rd and goal. We got Scipio over the middle. He's already given up a touchdown at one point, but they just decided to target somebody else. The 2-point conversion is a big deal, though. Are the Cardinals going to get it? One of those slants wasn't open until late, and we get the lurk with Humphreys. Darian was a little bit worried that since he's still not progressing that well during the offseason, he wouldn't get much time. But here's the thing. He has been starting for us since we first recruited him here as a true freshman. So he is now our starting strong safety. 2nd down, looks like it's going to be 3rd and short. Ideally, we have multiple options that we can take. I don't think Bryce Kroom is going to be there. Why were we in the way? Darren Gold is also injured. So that's what small size is going to do for you at running back. We just have to punt it back to the Cardinals. It's an unfortunate end of the drive. It's a little upsetting because if they have another successful one, they're about to take the lead after it felt like we were in control. But this is still going so much better than some of the blowouts that we have had to go through in this series. there have been a lot of weeks where we literally just got put out of the game by the end of the first quarter. I mean, we're facing a quarterback that is going to be a Heisman candidate, the first one Louisville's had since Lamar Jackson. And at least we're giving him in this offense trouble. What I really want, though, is to finish this game off. It's not going to happen if we can't stop the run. That right there is why Tim Gold's one of my favorite players, though. He wasn't even in position to make a play, and he still managed to. Come on, keep him short. We're just going to hope that we get lucky, that we can make them only get a field goal out of this. And I'm not going to lie, they shifted a little bit before the snap. It worries me, but we're going to get the interception with DeVoe. He was another one of the transfers that came in. Louisville is about to go down by 2 possessions, finally, for the first time in 4 years. Wait, I didn't see the other guy coming. I just ruined his pick 6 trying to chew off a little bit more clock. But anyway, for the first time in 4 years, our hard flat is actually playing like a hard flat. I just can't believe it. Another transfer. We got a lot of helpful transfers in the portal. Mac McCormick III from Boston College, our rivals, dives in. He is in to replace Darren Gold for as long as he is injured. And I can't believe what we're doing to Earl Ruffin. Forget having a shot at winning the Heisman. He's ruining those hopes in week 1. You don't get to throw 2 picks against UMass. Here on 3rd and 4 now, he wants something underneath, or they're going to come away with their miracle play. Because even though we did have a great defensive stop, that type of stuff is still going to happen, where our guys just act like they don't even know how to play coverage. So we still need to hold on to this ball for a bit longer, and they're not going to make it easy on us. 2nd down, Von Meekins takes the sack, but there's a flag. It's holding, so I'm actually hoping that they accept this. We'd have 2 downs to pick up the first. Though they did the smart thing, they didn't. It seems like Louisville's about to send in a lot of pressure, and that's a bad read from Vaughn. He has been known to panic in situations like that. Hopefully Louisville's returner doesn't get over to that football. It's going to bounce to the 36, and we can still come away with 1 final stop. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Doesn't seem like anything was going to be there, which is why he's immediately taken off and run the ball. No fumble. My biggest fear out of that is if he starts using his legs, we are not going to have a good time. Why did Humphreys not just intercept it there? He literally just got thrown at, and it just doesn't make a difference at all. Throw on the run, touchdown. The Cardinals have absolutely come alive in this game, and they're going to get the 2-point conversion. This is what we're up against. We can never close out a game. And without the ability to run the football, we're just going to have to go through the air. But I think Louisville's lurking that. Bryce Kroom can't get it. 3rd and 10. If they send a blitz, we got a quick read dialed in. If not, they get their hands on it. And I don't even know what to do. It's 4th down. Man-to-man coverage. It's a good throw. It's caught. The level of trust to put that in the true freshman's hands. Enrique Cotrin holds on to it. Wade will also be able to get us like 20. But we do not want Bo McCormick III out there for this halfback screen. I guess if he turns it into something, maybe he can redeem himself here. Look at the spin. That was the best thing that we could have hoped for. On to our 3rd string back who's going nowhere. And if we could just get Cam Locke on a streak, I would love the odds of him winning this route. Though I just don't trust our leverage. If we threw an interception on that, it would be unforgivable, especially since we are currently in field goal range. Von Meekins goes to the 3. And I love the idea of Locke in man-to-man coverage, getting open. Can we make that throw? I don't know why we had a guy stop his route. There was a touchdown coming across the field, but Louisville, for whatever reason, just wants to let us get in. They've accepted it was going to happen. And I guess they wanted as much time as possible to respond. This is where Earl Ruffin could make his Heisman case if he somehow pulled this off. But it is 14 seconds. We are backing everybody up. Surely we're not about to give up a touchdown. We're trying so hard to open up season 4 with a win. And he is 98 throw power, so I know he can reach the end zone if we get in, though. He had to get it out quicker. That is going to do it. It's another interception. I think 3 picks is the most that we have ever had in a game in this series. And Von Meekins deserves all of the credit for this win. He might have had a couple questionable throws, but he led us to 32 points of offense, the other 7 coming from our defense. And speaking of our defense, you saw how solid they just played. Well, they're still not happy with their playing style. All 3 of our best defensive backs want to transfer at the end of the year. The main reason for that is we just give up too many defensive pass yards per game. It's something we got to focus on. But that has always been where we've been at our weakest. We're going to have to clean up this board so it's full of prospects we actually have a chance at landing. We only have 400 hours to spend, so we have to be very careful with how we spend them. 10 players that we're putting hours into at the moment. There's this gadget receiver. He could turn into a running back in the future, so I like bringing guys in like that. Lots of defenders, though. Especially at linebacker, we just don't have much depth there. We're getting to our 3 4-stars, though, that we're targeting. All of them we're going to have competition on. We're also going after another 5-star. Why not? I don't know if we'll land them, but we're starting to build up a reputation at UMass for signing some really really good linebackers, we got Boston College coming to town. And this is a team that doesn't have a quarterback that I'm worried about. At running back, I'm also not as worried. Only 85 speed on Adonis Jeffrey. I think we can contain him. It is Dante Holiday. He gashed us last season. That's what I'm scared of. So we'll see if we can handle our in-state rivals as we battle to be the best team in Massachusetts. Outside of getting to play UConn and Boston College, our two rivals, the rest of the schedule is always filled with top 25 teams. So those matchups become the ones that we look forward to the most because it feels like our best chance at win. Now, the years that they become really good and they're also ranked, that's when we gotta work. But we just beat Boston College for the first time in like 15 seasons last year, and I'm hoping to keep that up. It'll literally come down to whether or not we can stop Dante Holiday, though. He's number 89, so keep an eye on him. That is who I am watching on 3rd and 4. But that's going to get their tight end open. It's not anything too explosive, though. Definitely not like Louisville's offense, which is really good if it stays that way because, remember, we're trying to prevent passing yards. That'll really help with retaining some of our most talented guys. Though you cannot just swat that ball away. You have got to intercept it, or else they might be able to pick this up now. Too much time. Too much time. Won't matter. Sharp gets his 2nd pick of the year. That is the beauty in not facing off against such a high overall quarterback. They have inaccurate passes. And what a start to this game in the rain. I have been so pleased with Damian Sharp. It also looks like we have Darren Gold back. And now that I think about it, when he was on the field, our offense was at its best. The second that he got injured and he was no longer out there, we struggled more. If Thad Wade was going to make that catch, though, it would have been extremely tough to bring in. Darren Gold turns upfield, and Darren Gold is putting on the burners. He is just 87 speed. You don't expect him to do that, but I guess he's so small and elusive it works. Then we got his brother from another mother, Tim Gold, that we're just trying to make some user plays with. Though this is the running back I said I wasn't worried about. And clearly Adonis Jeffrey took a little bit of offense to that. Depending on whether or not the Eagles have a kicker, he basically just guaranteed them points if they do. What if we got another interception with Sharp, though? It would be extremely helpful. Another run for Adonis. That cutback was nuts. He has been very dangerous with some of those. I wasn't expecting the keeper, but it's okay. They still need to pick up another 8 yards, which we've held. I actually love getting teams into this position where they have a 1st and goal that's long. Eventually, if you get a sack, you're going to be good. And that's what Stan Lyle just did for us, the junior defensive tackle, making a stand. We want him to take one of these checkdowns because they're still going to be far from the end zone. And they're just going to be stuck kicking. We didn't want to give up 7. They don't even get 3. We could actually open up the season 2-0 for the very first time. I think last season we might have started like 1-5 or something. So it's crazy to get to 2 wins already. And I'm all about testing the waters. If we have a few successful runs, is Bryce Kroom going to get a chance to route somebody up? He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. But one thing he does right is he runs some really good routes. Von Meekins, do not fumble here, buddy. I cannot glaze you if you fumble. Cam Locke coming around for this jet touch pass. I'm still not sure if him being in the slot is the best use of him. I'm starting to think I would really like to have him on the outside where Bryce Kroom is, where he could be beating the press for us as our #1 receiver, especially since I think he would have held on to that football. As good as Ben Napa has been for us as a field goal kicker too, I don't like attempting about a 50-yarder. He's got the leg for it at least. It's just in the rain. That is a really challenging kick to hit. Waited a long time to hit the wide receiver. But the plan was clear. They wanted to get Dante Holiday involved. I was going to guard him if they had another RPO. So even though he hasn't done much yet, we're going to keep on having an eye on him. We don't want him to have any opportunity to get free. He was so dangerous last season. Like, that kid could have given us nightmares. So that was lucky. We literally had 3 guys on him, and they still tried to force him the ball. 3rd down. Looks like Dante Holiday is going to be open, but we kept an eye on him again, which is exactly why Boston College had to throw it away, because they were staring him down and they didn't want to throw another pick. It has become so clear that all we had to do was start getting some good defensive backs on this roster. That has been a big difference maker for this season. And look at Darren Gold, already over 100 rushing yards. This could be the biggest play of the year, though. Actually, we just had to get it out very fast to tight end Brian Knapp. But I might run it back anyway. We got another tight end that's supposed to be sneaking deep down the field. I guess we're just going to throw it to him twice. Boston College isn't falling for the play action. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Since we're already up by 10 points, to me, this is just 4-down territory. We do get it with Bo McCormick. And why not? One more play action just for good measure. We could have had the deep post, but we didn't need to force it. We did. We pushed our quarterback to something he's not comfortable with. We should have kept running. Downfield throws 20-30 yards have been his biggest weakness, and that wasn't even close to being accurate. I think that's the most frustrating part Dante Holiday, by the way, what did I tell you about this kid? He literally just trucked somebody that weighs 50 pounds more than him with no care in the world. And we literally just got too comfortable against Boston College. I'm still thinking about why we even threw that ball in the first place. There was no need for it. On 3rd and 2, though, they go for an outside run. It didn't work. The Eagles are going to have to punt it again. They couldn't even get a field goal out of that. Also, awful punt. And ideally, I would like to control these final 2 minutes to be the final drive of the first half. For Von Meekins, everything has to be short and underneath. That is what we're going for. Cam lock on the simple drag. Gonna get tackled, but that's fine. He already got us to the 40-yard line. Our blocking was looking nice. And this is where we need to make sure that we just keep on picking up some of these first downs and hurry it up. We let a little bit more time run off the clock than I was planning. What are we doing? What are we doing? That is a play that they've got to have on tape like 50 times at this point. And it's just throwing the ball too much still. That's really all it is. The more we throw, the worse we do. I don't think Boston College is going to do anything in these final 19 seconds, though. Looks like they were going to gash us, but there's a flag on the play, so they're most likely just going to take a knee, take things to halftime. And this is the drive where Von Meekins is going to learn to control himself. There is no reason to throw another interception. He had a couple 4-interception games last year. I can promise you, if that happens again, he will not be our starter. There are other guys that are more accurate that aren't going to have inaccurate balls just fall straight into the hands of some of these defenders. And when we have a running back that's rushed for almost 150 yards in this game, there's no reason Darren Gold shouldn't just continue to get touch after touch. He's done all of it on 11 carries, which is the craziest part, but then we saw the mismatch. And we just decided to take it. It wasn't there, but we can still run on 4th and 1 and get over the marker. It really is greed. It's easier touchdowns that ends up corrupting our offense. When we're not trying to go for them, we're better off. And we might even be able to hit Bryce Kroom on the slant to get us to the 1. This is where we're going to trust Von Meekins to just use his large size and run through somebody. That gives us a 17-0 lead. And Boston College isn't going to respond. We're talking it into existence. We might as well. They've been doing nothing offensively. And I can watch for the corner route on one side of the field when they come out in a tight set. How did we not at least hit him? I'm pretty disappointed we didn't break up that pass right there. But every yard the Eagles want to gain is still going to be hard for them to earn. Breaking that sack isn't ideal, but Darian Humphries is back there. And he lets a ball just get caught on his head. I think he was inbounds, but we might as well throw the challenge flag just to be a little pain in the butt to our rivals. Oh, he was in. It was kind of hard to tell if he got pushed out. It's clear he didn't. And I think the worst part about that was it was a 5-play drive, so they quickly scored. They made it to where this game is not over, and they might just continue to cause some problems for us. I'm not going to lie, though, that could have been taken for a touchdown if we just caught it. The pressure collapsed the pocket. So Von Meekins is trying to scramble for the first down. And this is where we just get greedy. We look at the seam. We say, hey, we can take advantage of that. And then we make the catch. It wasn't a good throw, but it did enough to finish the job. Except there's a fumble. There's a fumble. It's just bounced around 50 times. Boston College gets it. They also are on their feet, so they're going to have a chance to return this for a touchdown. There is no way that we lose this game. We can't even challenge the play. I would love to see if we were down. We were actually down too. You can see his knee is on the ground before this football ever comes loose. It came loose because he hit the ground and it's wet. So now we're just getting cheated out of beating Boston College. Tack on another penalty just for fun as well. And you have to wonder, are we going to go back to Darren Gold after that? Absolutely. He's a small running back. There will be times where the ball comes loose, but what we can't do is lose our faith in him, which is why we pulled out the play action for another 20. I can't believe with the game he's currently having, we're only up by 3 points headed into the 4th quarter, but we got to hang on. On 2nd down, we're going to see if one of our tight ends can get open. They were kind of just running into each other. And even being in this position all comes back to not being able to finish off drives in the first half. You cannot drop that ball. I just feel like everything's going to go wrong for us, that nothing is going to work out the way that it should. Confidence was so high, literally, like what, 2 minutes ago? Now we're going to have to sweat this one out. Rivalries always do this type of stuff to you. It's going to be 3rd. And no, it's a first down. It's a first down for no reason other than EA just decided, you know what, Boston College needs a little bit more help. We're going to help them out here. We're so locked in, though, it's not going to matter. Quick throw to Holiday makes it 3rd and 8. And let's just get them off of the field. Throw the ball at Tim Gold. You got nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're going to get some route bounces, though. Won't matter. Eventually, Peyton Luttress finally got a hand on the quarterback, so we're getting the football back with 4.5 minutes left. Ideally, this is the final time they saw the ball. We're able to just keep it with Darren Gold and get through the final 4.5. But I have to say, after that last fumble, I'm a little bit worried. I don't want him to fumble it away again. We're going to cut this one back, make it 3rd and 7. And basically, this play is all about waiting for your slants. Which one do you want to take? We'll take the delayed one and drop it. I can't even say I'm surprised. Enrique Catran not clutching up. And let's just be real. That was a horrible punt as well. We're diving. It won't matter. We got to make this tackle. If that was Holiday, it could have been an entirely different story. Though they're going to keep it on the ground. They're not going to throw. I guess they've kind of realized that's the best way for them to be effective here. They got a tight end running backwards, by the way. I'm not sure what's up with that, but a spin cycle is not going to worry us. 3rd down. I don't see anything. They might go for the check down, but that wasn't there either. Here we go. This is the game. They're just sending it up. It's Holiday versus Tuttle, and we're going to get the interception. Dante doesn't do it to us again. So much credit to Adrian Tuttle for making that play. I will say, they still have all of their timeouts, so this game is unfortunately not over. We have to get a first. The question becomes, how are we going to do that? And I think a halfback screen to Darren Gold is a great idea. We see the blockers. We got it. We just need to stay in bounds now. No fumble. And we are going to survive against Boston College. Our defense played an incredible game. That one fumble got them half of their points. We get our 2nd win in a row against the Eagles. And on our defense, Damian Sharp's becoming one of my favorite players. He's 6'3". He's just a sophomore with impact development. And I think we might make him our starting strong safety, even with his speed being capped. As well as he's been playing, even though we want to honor Darian Humphreys and all he gave to this team, we got to get him more time on the field. And so far, just checking in on recruiting really quick, the guys we're putting 25 hours into were the only school going after them for some of these 3 stars and even 4 stars. We got a lead, though Notre Dame is going to make this corner very hard to get. At least at the moment, they don't seem to want Josh Malik. And for Derek Sharp, Michigan and us are going to go head to head. It'll be really interesting to see if we could win some of those battles if we keep on winning, especially if we won at number 13 Pitt. This is a team that we beat 2 seasons ago but lost to last year. Now Sinquan Smith is a 90 overall, 99 speed running back. He is going to be very difficult to deal with. But if we stop the run, I'm not sure that they're going to throw all over us. That is our one key though. Load the box, make sure he cannot get in the open field. And apparently look out for this tight end at the same time. Typically, Quarters is pretty good at stopping the run, but we gotta hope that our corners can't get beat one-on-one. The second that they do, we're going to change things up. We got a sack on 2nd down. Just like that, we got to back everybody up. We don't want to give up anything massive to Pitt, and they're just sending it up right here. We're swatting. No way they're catching that on our head. It's crazy how much of a difference 1 year makes, because last season, we had so many balls contested caught. It was ridiculous, but we were starting like 68 overalls. And I like where this drive is opening up from as well. We got a 20-yard run. Darren Gold is so great for us. We also could get a huge gain, or they're going to pick that football. I just couldn't help myself but take that chance. Darren Gold not out there for 2nd down. It's Bo. So we didn't get much, and keep in mind where we're at on the field. We can't take a sack. Von Meekins just tried to run, but he wasn't able to escape in time. The punt, again, not amazing, though it's better than the last one we had against Boston College. Quarterback keeper, by the way. 5-star linebacker missing his tackle. We don't want to give up a huge gain like that, but I literally cannot change our settings to make it to where we are playing the quarterback over the running back. No way. No way. Tim Gold's not getting this interception. What are they even thinking about running on us? I feel like the Panthers are just being as disrespectful as possible right now. We started our last drive in this spot, and it didn't end well. But this time, we're going to try and make the most out of it. I thought we'd squeeze through there. I actually wish that we would have pulled out a bubble screen in this situation. We'll see how they react to just a couple of slants out there on the field. Looked like Bryce Kroom got his separation. And Von Meekins can tell it's cover 3 before the snap. We needed more. I thought we were going to get it. Look at Thad Wade for a really quick read. If it's not there, you can't not have a spy on the field, because Von Meekins is slamming it on the ref's head. What a cool ref, too, for not throwing a flag or anything, just taking it like a champ. We got 5 wide for Pitt. We should have been closer to him. Tim Gold had too many other responsibilities, though. We're going to bring him in here. If it's a run, he's right there to make the tackle. When he graduates, not at the end of this season, but the end of next season, it's going to make me so sad. He is an incredible linebacker. And here we go, 3rd and 5. They got the corner route, but we're going to be able to get over to that ball. We saw it. We got there. And so far, we've been 1 step ahead of Pitt this entire game. I am really liking the outlook of this season. We might actually make it to a bowl. It's not just a possibility. An hour and a half ago when I started filming, I would have told you it was a long shot, but now it's like a 50-50. I can't say taking a sack there is going to help us much, though. It's why we needed to get a big run with Darren. And I can't believe it. He is already at 60 yards on the ground. We want to make a man miss. Bryce Kroom is not the guy for that, though. They're starting to get more aggressive with their run defense, but Darren Gold just cut it up. He's super patient, and it could benefit us that he's slower. It gives him an extra split second to read the defense, see where he needs to be. That was always going to be hopeless, though. The zig, not really getting open. Lots of pressure on 3rd and 8, but no one following Darren Gold. They're still going to play him. And why are we trotting out our kicker for a 58-yard field goal? You're about to find out why. Is that enough power? Is it enough? It is! You know, the Northeast region might not have the most talent in the U.S., but we sure got some good kickers to lean on. And are the Panthers going to stick with the run? They do. I wasn't sure if they'd go right back to passing. On 3rd and 3, of course, they are going to pull it out. We almost got a hand on him. If we could have just touched the quarterback a little bit and knocked him, maybe that throw wouldn't have been as accurate. I trust Tuttle to get this pick, or not even get a play on the ball. He's been so good up until that point at not giving up contested catches. Looks like we're going to have a big run with Meekins. He spun in the complete wrong direction, but that's okay. Run game's still effective. We do have 2 tight ends over on that right side, though, that are much better at receiving. I can't trust them to block. And it already said that this was going to be cover 2 before the play, which has me really nervous on whether or not we're going to be able to beat it. Underneath, that has it. What I really can't resist the urge to do right here, though, is just take the top off of the defense, and it's not there. It's not there. That's why Von Meekins is coming up clutch again. We're going to move Cam Lock to the outside, though, when we start losing. If we don't start losing, you don't want to change anything up. Darren Gold with the move. It just doesn't even make sense to me how he is this good. It's his first year at running back, and we got a touchdown. We have a touchdown to Brian Knapp. Up by 10 points, we're in the exact position I was hoping for. What I said was if we stop the running game, we'll be fine. And so far, outside of some flukier plays like that, we've done a really good job of holding. Zublin Kinsley's starting to throw the ball a little bit more, though, to end this first half. And we might have just got beat deep, or we can get back to that ball and get an interception. That is what Mafu is able to do for us. And I don't care that after this week, we got like Alabama, Texas, Oregon coming up in 3 straight games. We are on fire. We're ready for them. I will say it is probably the softest schedule we've gotten to play to just start the season. Still going for deep throws. And they're not there, but I have faith Von Meekins will eventually make it there. In his career, Cam Lock's going to pick up the first. We need to get Cam Lock on the outside, though. I would love to have an opportunity to just throw this one up. Von Meekins is injured after that play, by the way. So Bachman is out on the field. We're going to get him warmed up with a bubble screen. Just take that out of bounds. And it looks like it's bruised ribs. He'll return soon. For now, Jason Bachman is getting his opportunity. He's the most accurate quarterback on this roster. He just has 84 throw power. So my reasoning behind him not starting is we don't want somebody with 84 throw power. The ball is just not going to get there quick enough. We also don't have field general on him. And he's a year older than Von Meekins, who would 100% transfer if he became the backup. So with all those things in mind, Bachman has been on the bench. He is going to not get credit for a catch or credit for a completion. He shouldn't have. Bryce Kroom put a lot of effort into potentially catching that one. Pittsburgh looked like they could have blocked that kick. That's unfortunately not going to be the end of the first half either. They're still looking to get into field goal range. They need about 30 yards to do so, and we just got to prevent them getting a lot of passing yards against us. It's not good for our play style and retaining some of our defensive backs, even though when you think about it, it is all their fault whenever we give up a bunch of passing yards. What a hit. I am genuinely just so happy that this is what it is like to get some better players on this team. Double coverage, swatted away. And I will admit, even knowing that we had lower overall guys, I was worried that no matter how good we got the team, we'd never get stops. Just due to the difficulty, due to the sliders, but we seem to be figuring things out. We get to receive the ball to start the second half, and Von Meekins looks so tired. It worries me that he's already back out there. I don't want him to get hit and get more injured. But I guess our medical staff thinks he's clear to play, and that's out of reach. It's just, it didn't need to be thrown. It's his accuracy that holds him back as a player, and it was meant to be a low ball. You literally could not have asked for a worse start to this half. It was another play that we didn't even need to throw on either. It was literally first down. Now Pittsburgh's at the 6. It's such a frustrating spot to be in because this game was ours. It was ours a minute ago. Now Pittsburgh feels like they got a chance. And we'll see what they draw up on 3rd and goal. We got to protect the sticks. It's not difficult, in my opinion, to get a stop here. Just make that tackle. Okay, here we go. 4th down. I'm guarding that hitch, but we left one open. And the Panthers' aggressiveness pays off. Von Meekins still beaten up. I don't even know if we should keep him out there. That last throw he had just has me thinking that he is not ready for this. Pittsburgh's all over it. And he's down -5 throw power, plus even more on some of his accuracies. We'll see what happens on 3rd and 9. He has an opportunity to throw for a touchdown here. They caught Wade, but he still placed that ball exactly where he needed to. We're not going to lose faith in him yet. He didn't even have to come to UMass when he did. We're trying to be loyal to him. Little concerned for this 3rd and 5, though. Nobody was blocking him. And are we really about to hit another 58, 59-yarder? That's what we're about to find out. It's a perfect kick. Do we have it twice? We don't. We were kicking in the wind. If you wanted proof that the wind works in this game, that'll do it, because it was about the same distance. It was the same type of meter. And I really don't understand why coach suggested that we kick there if we weren't going to be able to even hit it 3rd and inches. Okay, if they run this football, we might be in good shape. We're trying to stop the run. Unfortunately, weren't ready for the keeper. And they're just going to hand this one off again, but lose 2. 2nd and 11, another carry. Pittsburgh, keep giving it to Smith. That is all that they're doing. We are going to be there to knock that ball out. And so we got our defensive stop, but we still are thinking about what to do. If Meekins doesn't come out feeling a lot better in the 4th quarter, then he might not finish off this game. We just have to get off one more play first, though, before we make that decision. I've been saying it for a couple drives now. I'm not sure if we want him out there. And I think seeing that he is not healed much headed into this 4th quarter lets me know if we get stopped again, he is done. Currently, he's not having to do much through the air, though, so there's no reason to take him out. We've rushed for almost 200 yards on the Panthers. That play really hurts, though. I thought it was about to go for a lot more. Underneath, it's going to become a 3rd and 7. And this is his chance to redeem himself. Is he going to be able to step up in this moment, or is he going to be done for the game? Cam Locke might have just saved him. Cam Locke is still going, by the way. It's the only reason that he's still playing in the slot, because we want his explosiveness. And we're just pulling out the halfback draw. We should have been milking the clock better than we did this drive. We have marched the whole field in like 2.5 minutes. Great takeoff from Darren Gold to get in. And I should have never doubted Meekins. He got the job done. What did Kobe say, though? Job's not finished, and it's not. We still have to hold Pittsburgh on their drive. They're a hurry-up offense. They could very well march down the field in less than a minute, especially since we seem to be prone to giving up explosive plays every so often still. You don't want to see Smith catching it. It is really shocking to me that he hasn't burnt us for a huge play in this game. What a rush from Peyton Lutrus, by the way, just to get in there. We got to knock that ball out and continue to watch our linebackers eat. They've been doing an incredible job of making sure that we knock it loose. Except I'm not going to lie, sophomore Damian Sharp has me really questioning if we should have given him the starting spot. That last play was just ridiculous. He backed off of what could have been an easy spot for us to force it loose. And now we have Bachman out there on the field, which is an even worse sign. If Von Meekins can't finish out this game, he might be done for a few weeks. And it's about to be 3rd and 10. There's still a lot of time left. We got a quarterback in with great accuracy, though. So we had the confidence in Bachman to not get the ball there the fastest, but at least complete the pass. We are also just going to be able to take this to the 2-minute timeout. We need one more first down to win. And let's say that we don't pick it up with these next 2 runs. We would just be punting it back to Pittsburgh, who would have like 30 seconds. Won't matter anyway. That's game. Darren Gold went for almost 200 yards. But even though we have started 3-0 for the very first time, we got some concerns to worry about. The first one being Von Meekins' health. Is he going to be fully recovered? He is for this next game. But the far bigger one, the next 3 matchups at Oregon, against Alabama, against Texas, who just won the national championship. I do think there are other ranked teams on here that we could take down this season. It's the whole reason I think we could become bowl eligible, but against a team like the Ducks, we're going to have to play perfect to win this one still. Their edges look incredible. So my hand is a 93 overall quarterback, going to be very challenging to stop. I will say their running back game is pretty weak compared to what they have at stuff like receiver. Even an 83 speedster shouldn't worry us. And look at our current championship contender grade. It's up to a B because we've won all of our matchups so far. We have a really tough schedule. We need that to last as long as possible to have a chance at Derek Sharp. And there's a possibility we got the same hard sell on this cornerback as well, but if it's anything other than this, we aren't going to beat Notre Dame. Before facing Oregon, the final change I've made is Cam Locke is going back to wide receiver 1 on the outside. And if we see them bringing down a cornerback pressing us that we don't think is going to keep up with him, I will take that shot down the field. I can't remember exactly what happened the last time we faced the Ducks in this series, but it wasn't anything positive. I can still count on my hands how many wins we have total. The next one we pick up, though, will be our 10th since we started taking over UMass. First play of the game, just looking underneath, missing 1 tackle already. Adrian Tuttle with the cleanup, though, so we're okay. I thought we were about to lurk for an interception. Do not get in the way of Scipio bringing him down. And you know what? We cannot be banking on Somahand making a mistake. We need to bring down Sharp here, just in case they decide to run lots of hot routes before this play. All for it to be a wide receiver screen. Let's keep Oregon to just a field goal here. Maybe we even bite down and get over there. We knew it was coming. We tripped him up, but that doesn't help us. I wanted to pick 6 on 3rd down. They got him. And we're just trying to keep them out of the end zone. How did he almost stay up? That was ridiculous. 2nd and goal. We are all over that, but we still need to prevent them from getting in, and I think we've done that. No way he makes this throw on the run. I felt like we would have guarded that better. And Von Meekins got so confused there, he didn't even know what button the bubble screen was. 2nd down, run gets us the 3 yards back. But this is setting up to be a 3rd and out if I've ever seen it. I would love to get Bryce Kroom on a comeback. It's just not working. So we're going to throw him on an inside post instead, and he's got it. We're lucky we could at least communicate to him that we thought it was going to be man-to-man coverage there. But giving credit to Oregon's run defense, I don't know if we're going to be able to run all over them the same way we have been to other teams. Coming into this game, their defensive line scared me. They got a blitz, and we've got Kroom underneath. He gets it done again. So there we go. We're starting to feel a little bit more composed. Thad Wade on a tight end screen gets rocked. Look at all those superstars that we're about to run into as well. At least the blocking's looking great here. Hang on, turning up the field. Darren Gold just exploded. Every so often, he hits his stride right, and he seems so quick, which helps us slow down all the momentum that the Ducks were building up. We just need that first stop. That's when we've been taken over in most of our games recently. Awful vision. There is no reason to be worried about these Oregon running backs. They are not going to cause us to lose this game, but that will cause us to. Just when you get confident enough to bring up the safety that far, they immediately got a counter to it. I thought we were about to go all the way. And I will say, if that was Brandon Hood, he would have had the speed to do it. 154 passing yards, though, to 1 rushing yard is just asinine. And they've got us a little bit rattled. 3rd and 5. We weren't expecting to lose yards there. Got to get it out quicker. It's easy to say in hindsight, though. Just got to punt it back to the Ducks, and I'm going to get off of the safety until we play better. It's a little bit worse for stopping the run, but I don't want to give up another deep touchdown. They've clearly got the vision to find it. Somahand throwing for this many yards already is kind of indicative of that. But just like that, it's 3rd and 2, and they had that read open as well. I was going to say I'd unfortunately not be able to make it to the bubble, but that doesn't even make a difference. Another 15. So if you think our play style, playing good pass defense, is changing, it's not. I have a feeling that we should just stay away from play style deal breakers in the future, even though there's so few players for us to choose from. Can we get to that ball? Clearly, we couldn't. Down by 14, needing another big drive here. And is Darren Gold going to be able to break off a big touchdown? No. There have been times where halfback screens have been money for us. We also might have the seam. Just got to bring it in with Enrique. Next up, we got Bryce Kroom off of this bubble, and he'll be wide open. Our blocks held for just long enough. So this is great offense. You know who's about to get this next touch. Hopefully they worry about him getting this one as well, and it gets Thad Wade open. He breaks off 1 tackle, spun around another. But either way, it is 3rd and 14, and they've got that route covered. But are we able to place this in the back of the end zone? Bryce Kroom, he never makes the catch. It would have been a really difficult one for him to bring in, and we are forced to just kick our field goal, except that isn't even making it. And all of a sudden, I am not feeling as great as I was in those first few games. I was feeling like we were just unstoppable. It has been flipped, though. We're playing a much better program, I guess. Oregon feels unstoppable. We haven't felt this in a bit, but it's okay. We still got room to improve. I'd love to get the Ducks off of the field to end this first half. Why did he have to stop that route? We got baited so hard. We were just running it like a drag, and now it's a quarterback keeper. I can't imagine that was worth it. He just got his head smashed in. Lots of deep zones trying to drop back, but not covering over the middle. Somahand is now at 267 passing yards, and if they have another 33 passing yards to end this drive, he will be at 300 at halftime. I guess they're just running, though. And taking down more time off of the clock is all that they want. A field goal to be up by 3 possessions. That's what it's starting to feel like. What would be ideal, though, is if they just mismanage this situation. They call a timeout. And I really thought they were about to just have a chance at the end zone and then mess it up. Somahand went 19 for 19 in that first half against us. And I don't even feel like we're playing that bad. I like the idea of them pressing Cam Lock on the outside. I told you I was going to go for it if they give us a chance. But we're going to need a lot more than a couple big plays like that to stay in this one. I guess one thing we could use Darren Gold for more of is throwing the football. They guarded him well there. But he is a former receiver, so any route that we put him on has to be a mismatch. Looks like Von Meekins is just going to want to throw this one away after running around for a bit. He tried to save the play, but he could only do so much. And this is definitely 4-down territory. I think Cam Lock could get open. We also have the bubble. Can we dive for the marker? It just doesn't even feel like 4th and 2 is a fair spot. I'm not able to audible either, but it's worth it in this situation to do it. They were going to stuff the run. We needed to change up our play call, and I'm looking underneath. Somehow, they didn't play it. Bryce Kroom had a defender there. So there we go. We are still in this game. Plenty of time remaining. It's just stopping the Oregon offense that's going to be a problem. Why do we got 3 guys all boxed up and stacked there? And why are we getting pulled down with 2? Yep, touchdown. The second I saw the slow motion, I knew it was over. I just couldn't do anything. And it's unbelievable that one receiver mainly, Zach Mattingly, has done 90% of the damage. He's gotten open a lot. It seemed like these linebackers are all going to be blitzing, so we were ready for a hot read over to Wade. Gets us the first. And Von Meekins is just going to have to continue to throw the football. There's not going to be very much running when you're trailing by 17 and time is of the essence. Every so often, we might be able to get him to bite with play action too. That is completely contested, but we had the positioning, so they gave us the chance to catch it. You run 5 plays in a row, though, that are all passes, and they are not going to be trying to stop the run. They did not fall for that play action. 3rd down, quick throw. It's going to be caught. And I really do like how efficient we are currently being. It's very crucial for us to have a chance in this game still. You can't have to wait on that ball. We kind of hit that Wade in stride, but we could have hit him a little bit better still. He got injured on that play. So ideally, we just keep things on the ground. We don't try to throw it. Though I'm sure Oregon is going to be prepared for this quarterback run because we've done it a few times. How are we jumping over the entire offensive line? I take back what I was saying. It doesn't matter how much film Dan Lanning and the Ducks watched. You are not going to stop that play. Another motion in before the snap. I was on the deep safety. If we're going to give up like another 70-yard touchdown, I would much rather it be my fault than the computer. And so that is how we're going to have to close this one out. Going to be 3rd and 2. Listen, we are not out of this one yet, though we're stuck on the defensive line. It's just awful timing. And Somahand is just not done in this one. He has continued to thrive. It's why the run is so open. But I highly doubt they're going to keep on going to this. I mean, they haven't run much. There's a flag, which will help us. It's against the Ducks. But since it was an illegal block in the back instead of holding, they got the first either way. Since they're in field goal range, all we need to do, keep them out of the end zone. We'll keep it a 2-possession game. Great tackle from Sharp. Hopefully, we can get in a little bit of pass rush here. They're hit short. And the last couple times we have played underneath on these 3rd downs, they've just picked up like a 20-yard gain. So I'm a user everything that could go for decently large gains. I thought that was overthrown. It was so close to being a bad pass, and we would have been set. We would have had our stop. They just busted off at the tackle. Back down by 17 with 4 minutes remaining in this game. And I think you could have seen the vision there potentially, but we just weren't able to achieve it. The only way that we are able to score quickly now is if we can get away with them running some quarters coverage. We're still going down. And Von Meekins has to at least just throw this football up. There is no reason that we should be getting hit that soon. That Oregon defensive line was different. If they aren't favorites to win the national championship, I would be shocked. Who's going to be better than that? Eventually, that drive finished off with a touchdown. We just ended the game after that. Somahand had 417 passing yards. He didn't have a single incompletion. We were literally just facing a perfect quarterback. We got Derek Sharp's hard sell correct. Did we get Frank's though? No, we didn't. So we can pull out of this battle, use those hours to schedule some visits. So I just realized we need to keep Frank on our board so he can be a complimentary visit. It's either going to be week 6 against Texas or week 8 on a bye where we can't lose. And ultimately, we decided on week 8, we're going to have all 4 players stacking complimentaries. It's going to be effective. But whether or not it's enough to close out on a 4 and a 5 star for our defense, I'm not sure. Back to worrying about what's going on the field. Alabama's coming to town with a 99 overall offense. And I see really good receivers. I see really hard to stop running backs. But do they have a quarterback that can deliver for them? Oh, they have an 88 overall freshman. He's a pocket passer too. We might just be cooked. But the Crimson Tide have already lost 1 game this season, so they at least have 1 weakness that we could exploit. We have to figure out what it is first, though. I love how many times we've gotten to start on defense this season. Stopping the run. I love Darian Humphries getting his hand in there. 2nd down, they go right back to it. And we were there to make the tackle. Deontay Jefferson just had different ideas. He had different plans, but it won't matter. They're running quarterback blast on 3rd and 2 with an 80-speed quarterback, and that might be what is causing Alabama to have some problems. Their playmaking doesn't match up to who they have. Or their play calling, my bad. Anyway, their defense they got a really good corner out on a target. And we might need to implement what we have had to do at one point in this series, the run, pass offense. I basically just force myself to run it twice in a row, and then we are only allowed to pass on third down. It keeps me from doing stupid stuff with the football. But I can't figure out where that star corner's at. We can look at matchups, though, and if this is man-to-man coverage, it's saying that Cam Lock could get open with his curl route. He did. I've never used that screen before, but out of pure desperation, we might have just found something that could be really beneficial. Our blocking matchups, we can see that up front, we should be able to just run straight through there. Though it's football, any information or data you got is never going to be a guarantee with how it plays out on the field. Thad Wade, reach for the marker, buddy. That is not what we want to see, but we're just going to jump and hope that we make it. You can say what you want to say about our offense and Darren Gold so far. He's got 5 rushes for 12 yards. Make that 6 for 12. At least we're still on the field. What happened? Did Thad Wade just get pressed that hard? I don't even think it's worth looking in Cam Lock's direction. Hang on. They got confused. For whatever reason, they've just left him open, and we got a lead on Bama. I have a theory, and that's EA is cheating. They were telling them that he was going to be on an in-breaking route, which that coverage would have worked for. The second that we decided to change it up into a streak, they just didn't adjust. That is my theory. It's probably a completely incorrect one, but it felt like what happened on that play. We're just missing tackles, and this is where the breakaway speed really kills us. Slow him down, slow him down. I'm familiar with Deontay Jefferson's game. 96 speed is not something you want to take lightly at all. And luckily, we know that they are going to be passing on this one. We can just set up our pass defense. We can't get over. Oh, we do. That works for me. 3rd and 9. Tim Gold underneath. Just going to have to cover both of these hitches. Force him to make a bad read. There's just no way you throw that crossbody. How did he even know he was going to get open? This is a freshman quarterback doing stuff like that. We just had like multiple guys miss their tackle. We went from having like 3 players in position to bring him down to 0 fast. And I would just love to see some of our stadium pulse kick in for facing a huge opponent like Bama. You're telling me that our fans just aren't going to be rowdy at all? We literally have a lead right now. And I think we're about to keep them out of the end zone. 3rd down. Watch for any hitches. He's not going to have the first, but we have to decide, are they running or passing? I'm going with run. We're run committing, and we got the stop. That is huge. We just got a goal line stand against Alabama. I mean, we might be punting it back to them here in a second, but still, I'm just impressed we came up with it. It's probably going to be considered a mistake to even try and pass for this 1st down. Maybe we can avoid the safety by scrambling, though. It looks like there is room for Meekins. And the drive stays alive. We're in the driver's seat. Especially if we can break off a huge run. Darren Gold fighting to the 46. So this is where I expect Bama to start panicking. We bring out the play action. We have Thad Wade underneath. He just throws a guy off of him. And I'm convinced that if we just keep going back to the stretch, we can get a tutty. It was Darren Gold's biggest run, but also his least successful. We got a comeback route in case they go man-to-man coverage here. If it's zone, we're just going to have to hope that Kroom can make it. And I'm a little bit nervous now. We have to go for it on 4th and 3, though. We can't afford to be stopped. And it's on target. Great catch. 3 minutes left in the half. This could be the final drive of it. Did Alabama get the football first? If they did, we really need to be careful here. We have the comeback, but it just hit me. We're not even in field goal range yet, so we're going to run. I wanted to make sure things were centered up so we could hit this, but Ben Nava just completely sold. He shanked that kick, and now they're splitting us straight up the middle. First time we run cover 2. You feel like you're in control for just a second, and then things just flip on you so quick that cut's just unstoppable. I don't even know what just happened. We were literally in control a minute ago. Maybe another pass to our tight end can continue to keep this drive alive. Eventually, though, we are going to need some bigger gains down the field, and we could have this. It would have been asking a lot. Please just go man-to-man on Bryce Kroom. We had his comeback ready. Turning upfield, Thad Wade has the first. It's going to stop the clock for half a second. We still need to use all 3 of our timeouts as well. We're going to use them once we're in a spot like this, though. Scoring a touchdown is not off of the table, though you can't loft a ball that high. You just can't loft a ball that high in that spot. I meant to have a little bit more power on it. We had to force it into that window. We didn't. If you just watch our guy in the slot, I'm not sure how much of this is just sliders difficulty versus our accuracy stat. but it went so much farther. Maybe it needed to be timed up better too, though. That's been the hardest type of throw that we've had to make. I typically love to thread it through the seams, but I've been so unsuccessful at it at the University of Massachusetts, which is why we've resorted to running the ball as much as we have. When Darren Gold is on, it's great. They've done a decent job on him, though. And it's the same problem we ran into against Oregon. Eventually, our offensive line won't win. There were a couple 4-star offensive linemen in the Northeast. I decided not to go after this season either, which I'm starting to regret. I just felt like we were going to waste hours and end up losing the battle anyway. 3rd and 4. I thought that Bryce Kroom was going to beat the man-to-man coverage, but the former 5-star is now a junior, and he is still just not that great at route running. Dev trait is everything. Stars don't even matter that much. There was a touchdown there, if you looked over the middle, and my heart just dropped because I bring these safeties down ready for the run so we can get through there, but they could have had 7. We've really seen the problem with Alabama's team this year, though. Their offense isn't that good for the talent that they got. I thought that they were about to go with a halfback dive. I'd say like 75% of the time, that jet fake is a fake, but he actually got it there. They just motioned over 2 linemen, so we're going to run commit. I knew the run was coming. And even better, although he wasn't the one that got the ball there. Alabama's starting running back got injured, so now it's 3rd and 7. Who else is supposed to cover that? I don't know where our mid-read was, but he sure wasn't guarding him. Also, Jefferson's back immediately, so I guess he just got a little bit banged up. This is a halfback draw. We missed, and we got our goal line stopped before by run committing. I'm willing to do it again. How? That entire sequence just frustrated me. And somebody tell me this is a bad idea. Somebody tell me this is a bad idea. It wasn't open. It wasn't even open. The one time we actually got the blocking that we needed, and it won't even make a difference. You cannot drop this. If you hang on to that ball, we can go for it, and we have a decent chance at picking it up. Now Alabama's just going to start this drive from the 27. And I think it's time to eat dinner after this game. Our offense, between the Oregon matchup and then against the Crimson Tide, has taken a major step back. I think it's just the fatigue. You play too many games in a row, and eventually it gets worse. That is my theory. Why else would I take responsibility for our offense just struggling? You cannot let him do this to us. They have like 3 running backs now that have come in and all been effective. It's their 3rd quarterback run of the day. He's hurdling people. And I hope Alabama doesn't end up on the schedule next season because he'll be back. 2nd and 13. Really hoping they makes a bad read, but no. Way too much time. I mean, this is 6-7 seconds. What are we talking about? The depleted defensive line that we had is showing up. They're showing up the way that we thought they would. But we know a run's coming. We got the motion over. He cut it back the other direction. It's not going to make a difference. Okay, so I'm just going to assume Alabama's kicker is going to hit this. It was closer than I thought. But anyway, point is, we have 6.5 minutes to come back down 2 possessions. Touchdown on this drive is the most ideal outcome. That way, they could even get down the field against us, but only get a field goal out of it. And then we can still score and win. I wasn't sure if Thad was going to hold on to that ball there, but rolling out, it's clear that Vaughn just needed to run. Something that Darren Gold should be doing as well, but he gets stuck. I feel like we've made the right decision in going away from it. It just hasn't been there. 20 rushes for 56 yards. You can't fault us for wanting to throw it a little bit more. Look at Thad Wade. Look at Thad Wade. It's out of reach. Von Meekins is selling. Von Meekins is selling. He's going to make up for it with his legs, but we really need his accuracy to improve this offseason. I thought it was going to improve more than it did. He's lucky he's still the starter. His ceiling is so high. The potential is there. We just need him to actually capitalize on it. You cannot drop that. There was a moment where I thought Brian Nat was going to be our starting tight end again. I'm so glad that he's not. We get the first, but we're going to have to lean on Brian Nat for our corner route here. Do I want to? No. We're going to go to the hitch. Thankfully, they guarded him. And on 2nd and 5, another quick route to Thad Wade. He's a reliable tight end. We'll keep on giving him the ball if we need to. We got the bubble. That's going to finish off this drive. What we need, though, is to stop the run. I love how we're coming out ready here. Lots of guys in the box. And we're going to continue to bring guys down. We probably should have called our first time out, but we didn't. It's another run. This time we just got carried away. And they're at midfield. No, they're not at midfield. Sharp, you're going to have to save the day. Save the day or just give up another touchdown. It was Peter Egnew. This is just like another random running back that we haven't seen all day, able to shred us. And we are actually dropping that ball. We just dropped that pass. We just dropped it in the pocket, too. They recover the fumble. Just win. Just win. When games turn out like this, it makes me wonder how we were even in it in the first place. Don't lose complete hope yet either, because we could hold them to just a field goal. Ideally, in the process, we avoid having to take a timeout as well, but they complete the pass, and they're in. I literally pass committed. We were supposed to have somebody there. And maybe I'm just blind. Maybe I'm going to watch this back and there are receivers that are open that we could be throwing the football to. But truthfully, I don't see it. In fact, I just see another interception for Von Meekins coming. It's going to ruin his stats. He was playing so well. And this game is just such a disservice to what this season has been so far. After that performance, we now have 7 players that want to transfer due to playing style. And the toughest stretch of our schedule is playing out exactly how I predicted. We've come back down to earth. We're about to face off against a 98 speed, 94 overall receiver, and 92 overall quarterback. Carl Lacey Jr. was already tough last year, though we did keep it close with Texas. That's what we're kind of hanging on. We were able to keep it competitive on the road when they were #1 in the country. They eventually won the national championship, and maybe we can do the same type of thing this season. It looks like they've returned a lot of the roster. We always knew this stretch of our season was going to be the most challenging part, though, and if we could even keep this within 7 to 14 points, I'd be satisfied. What I really like to see is us just continuing to be competitive and growing as a team. I really think we can do that with players like Thad Wade. I'm glad he's only a sophomore, and we just got to cut back here, or we're going down. Darren Gold has already gotten injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but we got the first. And it says he's only dealing with back spasms. That's not too bad. Bo McCormick III can just take this one for nothing. In fact, he's going to lose 3 yards, so we will be trying to get this ball to Thad Wade, though we got to place that well and go aggressive. Von Meekins is going to let us down. They got man-to-man coverage on 3rd down, but Cam Locke is reliable. And with Darren Gold back on the field, we can get back to running the football. Texas's run defense so far, though, they've been tough. That's why the halfback screen was ideally going to get us like 10 or 11. And we might just pull this read option, or we'll do the smart thing to move the chains. First down, we'll go with play action. Why not? See if that leads to any big gains down the field. I didn't really see anything there, but we can trust Thad underneath. Though this has turned into 3 straight passing plays, and he is going to scramble. Our drive seems like it could stall out, but we got the numbers to block and pick up everybody here, so I thought we'd pick up the 4th and 1, except we didn't. We didn't, so Texas gets us off the field, and Carly Lacey Jr. is about to go to work. Are you kidding? Darian Humphreys was in front of it. I am literally like 2 minutes into playing this game today, and I'm already getting frustrated. It's not a good sign. The rage bait is working today. And oh, broken tackle. Yep, 3 broken tackles, 4 broken tackles. Let's just give them more. Vibes are not up, but we are just going to run commit. Why not? Well, there's a reason. It's going to be a touchdown because we ran commit middle. And after another unsuccessful few-yard run, because we literally just can't run versus Texas, I decided we'd try to run again. It didn't work. So it is 3rd and 11. At least we had our tight end, except he drops it. So that's a 3 and out. The Longhorns getting the football back already. I'll tell you, this is not the start that we needed to keep this one competitive. We started our year so well, and I refuse to believe that it was a fluke. We're going to be able to figure things out. When they're pulling out RPOs, though, I genuinely don't know how we're going to even be able to stop them. Carly Lacey Jr. threw for like 360 last week, plenty of touchdowns. He's about to do the exact same thing. We're playing against quarterbacks that might win the Heisman Trophy. What are we supposed to do defensively? Meanwhile, we have Von Meekins and a receiving core that is far from the most talented. That play will take us to the end of the quarter, where it said we have just 9 rushing yards. That is a major issue. Bo can't cut it up. And when we're not running the ball effectively, we're simply not moving the football. That's why Von Meekins has had to take off so many times already. Before you comment that I don't ever slide either, I did slide right there. It just did not give us the animation I was trying. Typically, I do forget, but I did not forget there. We're going to mix in play action and wait for a tight throw. It's one of the rare ones that Von Meekins has actually gotten right. But we are really, really struggling to do anything. It is now 3rd and 20. He's going to have to hit this crosser, but instead they catch up to it and pick it off. Thad Wade just got laid out too. It was a great block, but we got to have a game-saving tackle. Von Meekins, though he has thrown a lot of picks, doesn't have much experience when it comes to making tackles like that. But there's the difference right there. We have a healthy Darren Gold. All of a sudden on offense, things are functioning exactly how they should. We just need him to stay in the game. I cannot believe that that last ball was picked off. We literally got open exactly how we wanted, and this is another big passing play that we can't come up with. It's just a failure to connect on anything. So we might get held to 0 points as we head into halftime. On 3rd and 8, they're literally all over the halfback screen. All I wanted out of this game was for it to be competitive, but it has not been that way. And it's not just on our offense. We need our defense to show up at some point as well, because they have not either. It's almost like we can't just run zone coverage at all times and get away with it though we couldn't jump on that route. So if man-to-man coverage is ever going to work, we're going to need it to be a little bit better. No. What else can we do there? We knew where the ball was coming, and we couldn't even prevent them from making the catch still. That's just a whiff tackle. 28-0. Texas is literally toying with us. I don't even think they respect us as competition. I mean, it is already getting out of hand. Why did he not get blocked? I see so many things that we're just not doing the way that we need to be. And I'm impressed that Von Meekins was even able to make that throw, but he's going down. He's also fumbling it. I thought he was already on the ground. Apparently he wasn't. We're just going to watch this back as he had 4 dudes pile driving into him, and he was definitely standing up the whole time. Why didn't he just go down? This is setting up to be our ugliest loss of the season. No other way to put it. We just got thrown on for like 500,000 yards too the week before. Please, test Humphreys on something. I think our defense is finally going to get that stop that we have been waiting on. There's a flag on the play, so it doesn't matter if this is going all the way. There was holding there. The stop is coming. We're going to get it done with some help from the refs. But what a horrendous first half for us either way. I called a timeout to get this ball back. They're about to land that though, so no reason to even try and do anything besides just run out this clock, or else it's going to be a very bad ending to the half. Accepting that we're just getting embarrassed like this at home is really hard to do because we gave these fans hope. At the beginning of the year, we were winning games. Now we're just hoping to get a stop. And Tim Gold got turned around there. He was prepared for the cutback, which was the worst thing he could have done. I'm afraid that no matter what happens, it's just over. I mean, our best receiver is literally getting clamped down by a freshman corner at the moment. The only little bit of success we have had has only come whenever Von Meekins just decides to roll out and scramble. We actually are going to have a really big play down the field here. Enrique Cotran with the catch. But Texas is playing lax now. They've already taken care of a lot of what they needed to in this game. They don't care if we score. We're still trailing by 28 points, and we're not even able to get a sack there, but we could get a pick. Adrian Tuttle with it. Okay, just like that, we are within 28, and they're coming out running cover 3. I am terrified of trying to do anything through the seam. That's how I'd beat it. But it's just not an option with our current quarterback situation. Can we make that throw? I mean, credit to Von Meekins. That was closer than I thought it would be. We're still going with our drags, but we're going to need more than that. 3rd and 6. He's about to roll out. He's got the zig. Just got to fall down. And there's a lot more comfortability when he isn't staying in the pocket, mainly because he knows it's going to collapse. I'm also like 99% sure we aren't outrunning anybody deep. It makes it very easy for Texas to get their stops, except for a couple routes. This is the 35-point comeback, though. Not a touchdown there. Maybe this wide receiver screen can open something up for us. Bryce Kroom gets us 8. And I am keeping my faith in this team. You never know how far we're going to be able to go. It's just nice that we're actually competing now since we didn't for half the game. And I hope the potential in Von Meekins is starting to show a little bit more. That was a really good drive. We just got to get Texas off of the field as a response. And here we go. 2nd and 15. They are throwing the football. I thought we could get the sack, but we couldn't. It is 3rd down. And we got our pressure in again. I don't know what to take away from this. Their offense was firing on all cylinders when it mattered. I feel like they're just not worried. But when it comes to going 5 wide, we might have found something that works well. I mean, even Cam Locke could potentially have a touchdown here. Just the way that they were coming out on him. We're throwing it to a place that they can also get a hand on. And that's the biggest problem, really. We don't have guys that are able to get open versus man-to-man. Even that drop does us no good at all. We're going to give it back to Thad Wade again. And I can't believe he even caught that ball in the first place. 9 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. We are open with Bryce Kroom, but we are still trailing by 21 points. We started so slow. For all we know, maybe we could have competed with them at least a little bit. If we're able to get a touchdown out of this drive, that's when we'll see. There will be some real pressure on them again, but now it's 3rd down, and Bryce Kroom just didn't get open. I'm afraid there was nothing more that we could do there. Fortunately, Enrique Cotran comes away with this, and we don't need much. We really do not. I feel like we should have gone for the 2-point conversion, though. A big kick return is not going well because they're already near midfield. That can't be a first. All Texas is looking to do is just milk clock. And if they're able to get a field goal, it'll be a 3-possession game, which ends any hope. That makes this 3rd and 2 such a major deal. But they were able to pick it up. And can we get a pick here? Can we get a pick or a sack? There's no way. He just escaped our pressure. And he is still getting the first down, too. I swear, while we were just trying to help out with the man-to-man coverage, I saw him surrounded in the pocket by like 3 of our defensive linemen. What could have possibly gone wrong to force him out of there? It just doesn't even make sense. I'm sure this is going to be a run. But either way, they are in field goal range. We needed an interception. We needed a turnover. Or we need a shank on this kick. I just didn't see it happening. We also got a false start before we could even snap the ball. So we have had an incredible start to this next drive that they could have just picked that. We're still trailing by 17 points. I mean, we are seriously going to need a miracle. And they just knew. They knew where I wanted to force it somehow. It wasn't there in the first place. It was just a whole waste anyway. And I don't even care we're holding Texas to 3 again. I'm ready for Von Meekins to end this game with one final interception. And I'm not sure what our real takeaway from this one should be, other than unless it's something short underneath, we're not throwing it successfully. I really wanted him to expand his game even more this season. That's a solid read. Hang on, maybe we got to give him a little bit more credit. Can he do it 2 times in a row? Bryce Kroom with the catch. And it might be the most amount of passing yards we've thrown for in a game all year, but that just wasn't there. I'm afraid that anytime we're hoping to beat man-to-man coverage, we can't rely on it. So that's why I typically wouldn't stare down a route like that, though we got the separation we needed, and there's a tutty. This onside kick, though, the most important part, and it goes straight into Texas's feet. So they are going to be able to just end this one. Though I was hoping the score wouldn't get worse for us. I literally ran commit middle, and it just did not make a difference in the slightest. That got us nowhere. But I am going to continue to throw the rock with Von Meekins anyway. This is experience that he needs. I don't know why he thinks he can escape that sack, but that is most likely going to do it. We'll need a really good throw on 4th and 26. That is dropped. It's like 1 second Enrique Cotran's making a play, the next second he's messing up. But that's just how it goes. We got number 15 Duke on the road this next week, a winnable game. Fortunately for us, they don't have as much talent as Texas. Like Texas probably had 20-30 players above an 87 overall. Duke has just one, a 95 overall linebacker. We'll probably throw him an interception or 2. They also have an injured 87 overall quarterback. So that means they're going to have to start a freshman as a backup. I also don't think their running game is going to be anything that we really need to be afraid of. It's this one receiver, Brady Hewitt, that will get open a lot. I mean, just looking at the rest of our schedule, if I had to guess one of these that we stand our best chance at picking up a win, it would be against them, Iowa State, and also UConn. So if we still want to achieve our dream of making it to a bowl this year, we need to win. The problem with facing Duke in Dynasty, though, is 1, their playbook is very hard to stop in-game. I cannot stand facing Veer and Shoot. And 2, they're always talented, so over the years, they just become better and better. It's like 90% of the time, Manny Diaz keeps them on a positive trajectory upwards. But look at that. Backup quarterback Rashawn Sorsdale did not impress last week. 2 interceptions. This is definitely an offense we can stop. They're going to keep us spread, but outside of that, as long as we're able to lurk on deep posts like this one that they're going to throw to, we're going to get him picked off. And we could also set up with fantastic field positioning. 50 yards puts us up 7-0. That's exactly what we're looking at. But Darren Gold was not himself last week. I'm hoping he can get back to it this week. Already 3rd and 7. Von Meekins was getting comfortable at the end of that last game with just throwing the rock. But you saw what man-to-man coverage just did to us there. I think we're going to have Cam Locke over on the sideline. If they cover him, underneath is Darren Gold. And we have reads all across the field that we could be making. What we really needed to do was just bring out the run-pass options and go to work. I don't think they fell too hard for that one. No one's jumping either. But we got our drag underneath. Enrique Cotran making a difference whenever he hangs on. That's what we're really hoping that he gets a lot better at during the offseason since he's young. Man-to-man coverage. Cam, Locke, turn around, buddy. We were aggressive. We went for it, and they're reading the read option. So we need to be careful here on 3rd and 14. If it's not open, just don't force it. Couldn't risk a fumble. That was not the smartest thing to do. They just dropped everybody back to where that marker was. I think just getting points in the first place, though, is going to be all that we need against Duke. We shouldn't need to put up an insane amount. Their offense hasn't been that successful. They have a quarterback that's interception happy, just like Von Meekins is. We're knocking that ball out. And our junior free safety is off to an incredible start in this matchup. Alfonso Tutt takes it to the 37. Once again, we're getting some solid field positioning, but what are we going to do with it? There's that 95 overall. I kind of figured he was going to make a play there, but we're looking over the middle, and that could have been an interception. Von Meekins just was not on target. He could be on target here. We just needed a big catch, and I was not sure if Thad Wade was going to hold on to the ball or not. Now we're going for 2. When our offense is playing like this, it's so hard to be optimistic. Like, what are we talking about? We don't even get a chance. Von Meekins is the only one giving us hope here. But ultimately, we are having to punt it back to Duke, and we got to get to this. We got to dive. Come on, put some effort in. At least it's going to be a low-scoring first quarter for both teams. Don't give up a corner. It's just making our life harder for when we eventually get this ball back. We don't want to have to drive it all the way down the field. And we had 2 guys in there to make that first tackle. But Jaquez Shore said, quit disrespecting me. I'm going to avoid him. And we're just running straight through. Except we've given up the seam. And we got turned around. We shouldn't have blitzed. At least the extra point wasn't successful for Duke. Though, we're about to be on a 3rd and 10. I cannot stress enough how poorly we are currently playing. And it just said they're going to be in cover 1. Which meant Cam Locke's getting his chance at a big catch. He can't come away with it. 2nd down. They're going to commit for the bubble. Ogden picks up 8. And I don't think you all understand how badly I just want to pull this ball, because we knew they were going to commit down trying and stopping the run, but we're doing nothing with it. They just locked down. If we had a bubble out there, Bryce Kroom is open, but we don't. So we had to run. They push us over the edge, and we just got blessed right there. Von Meekins isn't getting blessed 2 times in a row. I want to be very clear. Duke already has 3 sacks in this game. It's not getting any better. When it comes to their pass rush, they have been strong, but they aren't strong enough to hold Thad Wade. He's been having a pretty solid day so far with plenty of catches. We got a good cut up from Darren finally, and there's only about 2 minutes left in this first half. I would really love to see us close it out strong. I want to stay in bounds. Great juke move from Enrique. But here is the issue. The Blue Devils have realized that they needed to get the ball back before the end of this half as well. So they were just going to call their timeouts. There was no amount of time that we were going to be able to take off of the clock successfully. And we almost had it. We were so close to baiting him into his 2nd interception of the day. That drag won't do much. The Blue Devils still need to pick up this 3rd and 6. And we are giving something up big. He's going to have way too much time to throw this, but we can come back to the football anyway. And of all the reads I thought he was about to make down the field, that was not the read. You don't test our best defensive back, especially when he's already got 1 pick on you in this game, and there's someone else wide open. We have been blessed, and with 5 guys up on the line, I might as well go for an inside zone, see if we can get the first that way. No reason to not use Darren Gold if we don't need to. He won't have anywhere to go here. But it's okay. 2nd and 10. They brought in their blitz. That's what we were not ready for. And we're just going to have to go to our drag underneath. Bryce Kroom steals the catch. That ball was not intended for him, but he just did not seem to care. Pump fake. I tried to get that linebacker to bite on Thad Wade. I don't know how effective it is. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pump fake at some point and just throw a pick instead. Thad Wade gets this ball. And anyway, we got about 25 seconds left in the first half. We're going to Bryce Kroom here, where we can finally use one of our timeouts. I see no reason why we shouldn't just run for the first down, then get off a quick snap. We have a few attempts to reach the end zone. First one will be to Thad Wade. Our second one to Bryce Kroom, who they decided not to guard, just dive. We're in. What a way to finish this first half. I was unhappy with a few things we did, but ultimately, all that extra time that we spent against Texas perfecting what we wanted to do offensively has made a difference. Since we get the football to start the second half, we are in the driver's seat, but we still have to be able to do stuff like pick up this 3rd and 1. Thad Wade is the read. He should be getting open. Why did you stop your route? Why? Why would you do that? You had the first down. He literally was on an option route. He was on an option route. What he decided to do instead of stopping was cut to the outside, but then he hesitated. It wasn't even the throw. It was this slight hesitation where he was going to stop, and that's what caused the pick. I can't even say on camera the things that this team makes me want to do, but it's not good. It's not family friendly. So much for how we finished off that first half. Now we have to make up for the awful pick six. And how we're going to do that? It's not by running the ball. I can't really say it's going to be by throwing it either, though. You saw what that just did for us. At least we're going to have Cam Lock short. And I want them to commit to the run so bad. But we're just not seeing them do it on the outside. One of these days, we'll get them with the RPO. We'll just throw for an easy touchdown. It's not going to be today. And we'll see what we got on 3rd and 3. Ideally, we just go underneath. But we could also have Thad Wade to the 26. And he's got 95 receiving yards in this game. It's not like he has played poorly. It was just that one route that really threw me off. I'm just throwing this ball to Cam Lock. If that safety is not helping back there, It's going to Cam Lock, though. Bryce Kroom gets free, mainly because two Duke players ran into each other. That's just part of the game, though. I think Ogden could get his first career touchdown here. He's a route runner for a reason, and he does. Maybe we'll see more of the young receiver next season. But for now, we're just waiting on him to become a little bit more athletic. Here on 2nd and 9, it's going to be another run that we missed our first tackle on. But we could get Duke off of the field here. We just can't give up that post over the middle or a quarterback scramble. Backup's quick. This is why this type of offense is so frustrating to stop sometimes. Oh, great. He's just breaking another 2. We might as well just let Duke score now, especially if they're going to get lucky like that. It is baffling how much seems to go wrong for us sometimes. But you know what? We still have the lead. We've got the ball. We can't get out. And who knows what would have happened there if we did. Instead, we have to head into the 4th quarter on a 3rd and 14. And I am throwing this football to Cam Lock. It doesn't matter if he is open or not. The football is going to Cam Lock. We set our feet, but it's underthrown. It's underthrown. Maybe I read that wrong, but it looks like he could have been completely gone. Duke is going to be in decent field positioning, and they're most likely just going to take a lead here because we won't be able to stop. I did just think of something, though. One of our coach bonuses is we start the 4th quarter hot in close games with every defensive position on this team. So I'm hoping that can help us here. We just got dusted. We knocked it out. That was awful, though. We cannot get dusted like that again on 3rd down. We're covering this crosser. Somebody get in pressure here or just prevent him from reaching the marker. He's short. Okay, I feel like the only reasonable thing we can do here is send a blitz, especially if they're going to run it. If not, we got to get lucky. And I just cannot believe they're about to get even more. Holding them to just a field goal here would be so nice, but I'm afraid it's not going to be just a field goal. We just need one body to get free here. We need one body to get free. Though I can't say that was the perfect outcome. It's going to be 3rd down still. Okay, we have a quarterback spy out there. We figured they would probably be throwing the ball, and we need to send him. We need to send him. It's off target. What a bailout. He was open, but backup quarterbacks make their mistakes. And I have no idea what the odds are of us successfully driving down the field and scoring here, but they cannot be too high. I feel like anytime we need to clutch up offensively, it is a complete toss-up. Here on 2nd and 8, we're just going to be patient. We're going to take our drag. Make it a 3rd and 1. I'm not sure I want to hand this one off to our smaller body back here, though. I want to give it to Von Meekins to reach for it. And what do we need? About 20 more yards, and we'll feel pretty good about closing this one out versus Duke. That right there could have been a disaster. 2nd down. I just hit the wrong button, and they should have had a pick. They should have. It was pure panic. Von Meekins wanted to throw to the wrong guy. We have our slant. He doesn't catch it. And this punt is the most important play of the game. If they decide to field this, it's going to be a disaster. But with the bounce, it actually worked out. Okay, here we go. First play is just an RPO. And they got us biting. They got exactly what they wanted. It's another first. We can back some of our guys up in coverage too, but I'm afraid it's just not going to matter. We are going to have to take the risk that they just hand this off for the 1st down. And if they do hand it off, we could have gotten the stop. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out the way that we needed to, and we were there. We were there. Now they're at the 50. I'm starting to get really worried, though. Is this an RPO? It's not. Duke has field goal range. We've reached that stage where we honestly just need them to get into the end zone unless they take a sack. What do you mean? We were all in there, and not a single guy was capable of bringing him down. This is it. This is it. We just got to let them score or else it's over. All the Blue Devils are going to do is they're going to drop a lot of guys back into coverage. Darren Gold with an opportunity to get us 15. And every play has to be quick. In fact, we might be best off with just scrambling for 7 or 8 here. It's a fumble. And most importantly, just getting out of bounds. That's what I want Cam Lock to do. We're going to throw it to him immediately on the sideline. He didn't want it, though. 3rd and 4. We had the seam. Shouldn't have done an aggressive catch. We literally just need this drive to stay alive in the first place. And we only have 1 timeout left in this game. There it is. They knew where we wanted to go, but I'm not sure what else we could have thrown. Duke's going to get the win over us. It's hard to even get too upset because we got outscored 25-7 in that second half, and we beat ourselves. We lost to a backup when we shouldn't have. As for a recruiting update, we're about to see if Derek Sharp commits after visiting our school on a bye. I couldn't imagine it being that impactful, and it wasn't. Michigan's still in the lead, so we can take ours out of him. We can take ours off of Josh Malik. We can take ours off of this tight end. It's all battles that we are going to inevitably lose. It's not like the hours are going into much better things, though. We're literally just just putting them on 3 stars that Rutgers wants. And I think especially without even caring about getting these 3-star defensive tackles, this recruiting class is setting up to be the worst one that we've had ever since coming to UMass. As you can see, the only players that are on our board are 3 stars. We have literally just 1 commit. And bowl eligibility is going to be very hard to achieve. We have to win 3 of our final 5 games. Depending how this game against Clemson goes, we might switch up our playbook again. We might switch up who's starting at quarterback. I haven't really decided what we want to do. I just know LaMarcus Sullivan is not going to be fun to try and stop. Cortez Worthy isn't that quick. And even the Clemson receivers aren't that fast, but they're so much better than us. Every position is. You would think that we'd eventually get used to the overall difference, but it's very hard to. When you're an almost 21-point underdog in every single matchup, I'm not sure how you're supposed to handle it. And I realized that when we were running the ball effectively, we were doing all right, but we just haven't been able to get back to it. I think Darren Gold's just been struggling against the better defensive lines. Our offensive line's not been doing as hot, but maybe that can change in this game. 3rd and inches, reach for it. We'll take 3 carries for 10 yards. It's just when we start to lose a few yards on the first carry when we really tend to struggle. And Clemson is letting us run all over them so far. That's a very good sign of what could come. I will say I lost a little confidence with the backup coming in, but Thad Wade is open underneath, and he's got the burners on him to finish this drive off with a touchdown. Just like that, we are up by 7. And we're going to sit in quarters until Clemson shows us that they can beat it, because that has proven to be our most effective defense. Maybe on 3rd and 3, we play a little bit more underneath, especially if they're about to run here. If it's an RPO, watching, can't watch everything. A missed tackle is going to cost us a touchdown, though. It's just a bad spot to be missing tackles. We need to make quarterback LaMarcus Sullivan work for the points that Clemson is going to score against us, and we just didn't do a great job of it there. But it doesn't matter. Darren Gold's responded, and he had to be taken off of the field after a run like that one. Sets up a 2nd and 6 where, again, they're biting down on the run extremely hard. So we're able to get some of our RPOs open. I saw them bring the safeties up before this play. Not ideal, but I think Cam Locke could be gone for a touchdown. It'll really just depend how they handle this. He's at the 4. So far, offensively, I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's going to be our defense that we need to step up. That last touchdown that we just gave up was inexcusable, but we might be giving up another one already. With where we're putting our safeties, we're trying to stop the run so early on, but when you inch them up like that, the second they get through that first layer, it is game over. So far, Clemson is not afraid to continue running the football against us. We're going to be all over that underneath. There's just no shot, dude. I really cannot state enough how frustrating it is when we got 2 guys wrapping them up, and both of them are just failing to make a tackle. This is a lark, though. Throw it. Throw it. Give the 5-star the interception. If you were wondering the best way to end a first quarter, it is that right there. I didn't think he was actually going to put it straight into our hands, but what a play. I can't say I love the drive starting on the 6-yard line, but it's way better than the alternative. And that inside zone could have gone for so much more, which is why we ran it back. We have some reliable plays that I trust to get into the mix, but if we use them early on, like we just did, Clemson will be able to adapt, and it's a long game. Just got to keep that in mind. 2nd and 10. Clemson, man-to-man coverage. Cam Locke can't bring it in. It's unfortunate, but now we need to convert on 3rd down, and we do. Thad Wade. So far, literally everything is going right for us in this game. It could not be a more perfect start. Darren Gold off to the races. And surely Clemson's just going to continue to get more aggressive after that. What I'd love to see is at least a field goal here, though it's going to be 3rd and 5. So this is a very manageable spot for us to pick it up, and Cochran just can't hang on. I'd say this is the most important kick of the year, and we shank it. I wasn't even speaking up until we were kicking because I was so locked in trying to make it happen. That's just how fast things change. Nothing more can describe this season than just being so close to making so many great things work, but falling short every single time we need to do something correctly. I know that is exactly how it feels watching some of your favorite teams. That is how it's going to feel watching this series too, because it's been like it for 4 years. This has just been the worst of it during all 4 of those seasons. 2nd down, that's such a great read. We tried to get over there, but we just could not make it. And now they're about to score a touchdown. We're going for hit sticks here. Can we just bring him down? Like, we're putting all of our force on the line, and we still aren't capable. So that's where we come out like this, expecting to just shoot through there and hopefully make a play. I just cannot believe this one could potentially be tied up going into the half. The way this one started was so special, and Bryce Kroom isn't getting open, so unless Thad Wade can, we would have been in trouble. I can't stress enough how important having field general on Von Meekins is, but it kind of lets us know before the play if we're even going to have success. That man-to-man coverage continues to be a really big issue. I'm hoping they don't blitz on 3rd and 9. Looks like they're not going to. So Von Meekins has an opportunity to rush for it. And this is a very creative play we're about to pull out. We could just hand this one off and lose a yard. I really wasn't sure how that was going to go, but we needed to give it a chance. Throw on the run. Maybe we should just throw that away. At least a field goal here would sure be nice, though we might get more. Just the addition of having a scrambling quarterback makes a big difference. Von Meekins to the end zone. Cam Lock beat the press. We have done it. We have finally been able to go deep on the team again. That was the most satisfying time we've ever beat the press. And on 2nd and 1, read option is going to get them a solid 10 or 15. We took enough time to end the first half, though, that this is the start of the second half, so we are still in control. We really just need one more mistake out of the Tigers, and that's that mistake. It just doesn't matter if we don't capitalize and we're stuck, but he goes out. Okay, this is 4th and 2. I don't think that they're going to run the football, but they did. We dove to make the tackle, and it's just another crushing first down that we've given up. For a while, they wanted to stay out there in hurry-up mode. The corner route is not open. We tried so hard to get over there, and it did make the difference, but they take the shot deep, and we got to go for this pick, or at least break it up. I would have preferred if they didn't get a field goal out of this drive. They could still miss this. I mean, it is about a 55-yarder, which they are going to miss, and the biggest benefit from that is we start on the 37-yard line. First run of the second half for 4. We cannot forget running the football is what's led to a lot of our success so far, but it is 3rd and 7. They brought the blitz, and we got Cam Lock for it. I was actually going to go deep on this play as well, but then they backed up their defense. Bryce Kroom can't get to that. There was a major mismatch before the snap, though, and when I put Thad Wade on a streak, their corner just magically backed up by like 10 yards. It's simply just cheating. There's no other way to put it. We're going to see if Cam Lock can get open deep again. If not, Thad Wade, all reliable for us. And I'm hoping we're starting to make Clemson sweat. I won't feel all right until we get a touchdown here. I really want more than just a field goal. Bryce Kroom gets a little acceleration going. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to pick up that first down, though, and we get 5 extra. Darren Gold was so close to taking that one all the way to Von Meekins. Cannot fumble. He almost did. Biggest 3rd down of the game, and it's going to be an easy one. That's going to put Darren Gold at 20 rushes for 137 yards. And Enrique Cotran might literally just walk into the end zone, or he'll need to die. I'm honestly terrified even bringing out what we're about to bring out here, but we are pulling the speed option, and Darren Gold is going to need to just get a little extra step in his pep. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. We're up by 14. But look at this. Look at this. I just should have not been lazy. I shouldn't have been lazy. I was. It's a kick return for a touchdown. I've made it so far in this series, simming basically every extra point and most kick returns. But of course, the one time we just needed to get back on defense, that's when they score off of it. 6 minutes left in this game. The play that got us our first touchdown does wonders. But Clemson immediately scoring puts them in a great spot. Far better than they should be. On 2nd and 9, I saw our drag get open originally. Brian Knack can't make it all the way. But are we just going to be able to penetrate right here? Snap it. No false start. Great. Great. It's not a first. I think there's only one way to handle this, and you all already know. We're going for it. We're going with a direct snap, too. Darren Gold picking up far more than he should have. And that is such a huge difference maker because there's only 3.5 minutes left in this game. If we can just come away with a field goal here, I'd be feeling all right, but it's now 3rd and 11. We just want to center things up. That's all we care about. Well, do we QB sneak this? This is such a hard decision to make because I wasn't expecting it to be marked as a 4th and inches, but we do. And that is going to make sure the Tigers are completely out of timeouts. 1 first down ends this game, but at the very least, we can still settle for a field goal and be up by 2 possessions. I just wouldn't put it past EA to like force us to fumble here, and then the Tigers march down the field, score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion. Never mind, we're going to get our 4th win. And what a miracle, because we were on a 4-game losing streak. The Minutemen have been able to bounce back at home. Beating Clemson in front of these fans is huge. But I just realized, I thought one of the 3 stars on our board was on a visit against Clemson. It was the 4-star tight end I removed. We could have won that battle with that win. That's just a major fumble. We're going to have to host number 2 Florida, number 4 Penn State after we go on the road to number 13 Iowa State. Still feeling like this is our best opportunity to pick up a win since these 2 teams are undefeated. We have to win 2 more games to become bowl eligible. And we've beat UConn the last 2 seasons, so that's why I'm so confident there. Iowa State's got an 88 overall running back. They got a good tight end that they're going to be able to feed. They also have 95 speed on Zay Robinson. But their quarterback position is their weakest spot. Johnny Iverson is just a freshman. So I'm hoping that we're able to rattle him and pick up our second straight win. Now, as I'm recording this, Iowa State is down to 16 players on their roster. Their head coach, Matt Campbell, just took the job at Penn State a couple weeks ago. So it just raises an interesting thought on where the college football world is even at the moment. I don't think anything's changing anytime soon. The NCAA can't do anything. The whole sport's run by TV networks and conferences. But I think we all can recognize there are a lot of problems in college football that shouldn't be there. In an ideal world, players can only transfer like one time. They can continue to get paid as much as they deserve. And then if they lose their head coach, they want to move back home towards family or something, then you give them that option to transfer again. That's what I would do. I have no input. Maybe 30 years from now, I can find a way to weasel myself into some room as an old head and get in on it. But for now, it's just wishful thinking. I just want college football to always be great. Anyway, with that little ramble out of the way, we're on a 3rd and 4, and I'm probably going to throw this to Brian Nat underneath. It's our 3rd first down of the game. Darren Gold had 173 rushing yards last week. He's looking to go for even more. To win this one, him going off is exactly what we're going to need. But first, are we even able to convert on this 3rd and 7? I was throwing the comeback route no matter what. And anytime one of our receivers makes a drop that they shouldn't make, I'll just crap on him. But then someone like Bryce Kroom can bail us out with a catch like that, and he won't get enough praise. So that was a huge impact play from him. He wants the touchdown too. What a start. He is finally starting to actually play like a 5-star. And here we go, 2nd and 7. Looks like they got 4 routes out there on the field. We dropped back too far. And Iowa State took advantage of it. 3rd down though, and they couldn't make that pass. What a bailout. We left the tight end wide open because I was so worried about going over to that bubble. We also returned it to the 44. So we've had an incredible setup to this drive. And what would make it better than going play action to open things up? We feel in control against the Cyclones at the moment, but anytime we have felt in control against anybody, it never seems to end well, so you can just expect that pick 6 to come soon. Thad Wade is going to get around at least one defender. And of course, it's 4-down territory. We're not going to kick from here, so we'll run on 3rd down and not even worry about what we do if we didn't get that. I see Cam Locke getting pressed, by the way. I feel like that corner is going to be able to get back to the ball, but that's on Von Meekins. He needed to place it a little bit farther down the field. Now we have to decide if we want to stick with the halfback screen to end this 1st quarter to potentially move the chains for us. And I am all for Darren Gold getting that chance. But even for the first time we've run it in this game, it didn't find success. This is a 51-yard kick. There are never any guarantees with these. In fact, it's not going in. But to me, that is still better than us punting the football. And I knew he was eventually getting open. You could just see it coming. If this is not a run or a jet touch pass, we would have been in so much trouble. And that ball was just out of reach for Sippo. He was not able to get over to it. We're trying to get over to that one. We've known where they've wanted to go, but it doesn't really matter if we keep on failing to make a play. 2nd and goal. They are going to go through the air, which has surprised me. We had to cover 2 guys with Humphreys. And this is going to do it. Is Iowa State getting a touchdown, or are they going down? Surprisingly, it was middle linebacker Tomote Hasty, the 4-star we recruited last season, the freshman, getting that sack. And I'm hoping we don't get stopped short again. A 4-yard loss to open up this drive makes it hard to have a successful one, but the halfback draw gets a lot. And I'm watching Darren Gold on that out route. Remember, he used to be a receiver. Can he make this play? No, he cannot. This is where I don't think Iowa State's ready for the fake, though. So we pitch it, and Bo McCormick is just going to take off for a lot. Now we can get real creative. By real creative, I mean just throw up a streak to Cam Locke, assuming that he is able to get that little bit of separation, which he does. And if we punch this one to the outside, we should be able to take it in for a touchdown. They're just there first. Once again, we are relying on Cam Locke to get it done. He just takes it in with ease. He shredded that guy off of him like it was nothing. And Iowa State's defense is not looking incredible early on. I cannot believe he caught that. I also can't believe that's where he just decided to throw the ball. But we are dealing with a young quarterback that we needed to blitz. Typically, they just don't handle pressure like that very well, though he was able to deal with it there. I guess we're just setting a quarterback contain for 3rd down, and up the seam, Darian Humphreys was way off. Johnny Iverson noticed he was playing behind, and he took advantage of it. 2nd down, though, after they just dropped the football, they keep on going back to the flat. And they were really smart about what they just did. They chewed the clock down to about 30 seconds left in the half. So no matter what happens here, whether they pick it up or go down, it's going to be very challenging for us to get any other points before halftime. It doesn't mean that you can't try, though. Just need to avoid throwing an interception, if anything, which is much easier said than done. I think we were setting up to throw one right there. We might as well just hand it off. That clearly wasn't going how we wanted it to. And here we go. Final play of the half. It was 4th down. I thought we might as well just send it up. Looks like we are going to be able to get this one to Bryce Kroon potentially. We got a flag on the play, even though I am 100% sure it should be against us because we ran into him. And yet it's still going to be against the Cyclones. So we're going to get one more chance at reaching the end zone. That literally just put us in Hail Mary range. We might as well see what we can do. We got the arm for it, but we got bumped. And since we got bumped, that means it's going to be 14-6. We got our lead over Iowa State, though. That's good enough for me. I will say, if we had that field goal that we missed, it would be even better. But so far, it's not like their offense has shown too much for us to really be terrified of anyway. That'll probably all change here in the second half. It typically does, giving up about 20. And that is the sign to get out of cover 2 as soon as possible. Man-to-man coverage isn't going to get the job done either, though, whenever they got better receivers. So this is where we need to step up and hold them to a field goal like we've been doing recently. On 3rd and 6, bring in one of these safeties down potentially. There's a comeback route that's open, though. It's the second time they've hit him. Zay Robinson continues to eat, and we know that's who they want to feed. We can pick this, though. We can pick it, and we get it off of the deflection with Adrian Tuttle. We dropped it originally, but the junior corner still makes a play. And what a miracle. We needed that so bad. We're just going to hand this one off up the middle, and we're going to get a huge gain. This is where we really test our luck, though. Do we have them? We are not. It's going to be double coverage. We're just going to have to look underneath and drop it. We wanted to potentially take a really big shot down the field. Halfback direct, though, is going to help for about 7. And it says they're coming out in cover 2. We'll see which of these guys ends up getting open. I was trying to look over on the left side at our corner route and out route. Forcing it just didn't seem to make much sense for us, though. And it just showed that they were coming out in cover 1. I'm a little bit worried about the screenplay because of that. But this is where we have to ask, do we want to trust Ben Nava, our kicker, or do we go for it? He already missed one. This one, he was able to hit down the middle. He literally just kicked it as hard as he could. Is Iowa State going to march down the field again before we just got to force a clutch turnover? Because we've already done it twice. Or maybe it's only been once. Was it last week where Clemson threw the pick after going down to the red zone? I really can't seem to remember. But they better not try us on that comeback route too many more times, or else we will get there. Here we go. 2nd down. We just gave that up too easily. But it's all right. We have our 2-possession lead headed into the 4th quarter. And they're just going to open it with a run for about 8. I think this is a great spot for us to just send a lot of players, but it did not work. The Cyclones were ready for it, and if you pitch that backwards, you're not going anywhere. Here on 2nd and 12, we're watching for everything in our control. Ultimately, they're probably going to pick up a first, or they're going to be a yard short, and instead of going for it, they've decided they want to make it a 1-possession game. They're just going to kick. I respect that a lot, but there's only 5 minutes left, so ideally, they won't see the football again in this one. And that run will put Darren Gold over 100 rushing yards. Now they're going to come out with cover 2. They're going to have some help over top. We should have been able to get that throw out. It was either Thad Wade underneath or it was a streak going up to Cam Lock. Cutting this to the outside. We almost had it. But now we have a problem. Iowa State is setting up to hold us, and we're not getting enough. Now, they're saying that if we're on the 43-yard line, Ben Nava can hit a field goal from here. But we are at the 45, and I think we really need to reconsider and trust our defense, plus our punter, to put them in a bad spot. I think this will give us the best chance of coming out on top, but I gotta say, that punt's going too far. So we have given Iowa State a little bit of a lifeline in this game. Johnny Iverson's thrown for 250 yards. Can you imagine how good they would potentially be without the freshman at quarterback, though? That's been their biggest weakness. With him, they're 7-1. Without him, they could be undefeated. Do we see a pick coming here? We do not. And we're going to back up that safety. Basically just going to go with a cover 2 shell because this is my user. We've covered the hitch, but unfortunately, the corner's still there, and we whiffed on the tackle trying to knock it loose. He's all the way at the 20, the 10. Can somebody bring him down? That went from being the game to them getting right back in it. But they don't have the 2-point conversion. Here's the problem, though. They're not even going for the onside kick because they still have all 3 of their timeouts left, which means they are expecting that they're going to stop us here. With them getting aggressive about stopping the run, I don't feel great about getting a huge gain, but Darren Gold had other ideas. Game is still not over. Even with that first down, though, we're going to have to see another. And we literally could just hand this off for an inside zone and potentially make it. That's literally going to do it. We can take a knee. And your Minutemen are back above 500 this season. I have to say, I'm seeming to notice a little bit of a trend here. If we can get over 100 rushing yards with Darren Gold, then we win the game. But it is so disheartening to still see this amount of players wanting to transfer, even with our success, because I know our playing style is not getting any better. We literally just give up too many passing yards on defense per game, but that grade's currently at a B-. So there's still a few games left in this season where things could shift on that. Florida is the #1 team in the country, and they have an almost perfect cornerback in Michael Clayton, 99 speed. If he's pressing cam lock, we will not be throwing the football up to him. But what are they working with offensively? They got an 80 speed quarterback. It could be worse. He is a high overall, but they're always going to be high overalls at these schools. And let's just say, after seeing a 96 speed receiver, I've realized we're probably giving up a lot of passing yards this game. Since this game is not going to be a snow one, what I'd really like to see is next week when Penn State comes to town, we get a snow game, because we had it to end season 3 against Connecticut last year, and it was incredible. Now, I guess Connecticut is in the same area of the US, so they might have a snow game to end the year when we play at their stadium, but we'll just have to wait to find out whether that'll happen or not. Now, I think it's a little lazy for the impact players to feature a quarterback for us that hasn't even seen the field for more than a game. Von Meekins should be on there instead. He's going to get to complete this pass over to Cotran. And the last time we ran this play, it didn't go anywhere. So I'm not sure why I thought things would change that time around. Just had to pick up that blitz. Deep post isn't there, so we scramble. And our offense just feels like it is in flow state at the moment with the amount of success we're seeing. This is the #1 team in the country. They've not lost a single game with a tough SEC schedule, and we're putting together a drive. But I might have spoke too soon. It's now 3rd and 5. And we're just going to have to make a good throw here with the catch. Remember how I said if they're pressing cam lock, there is no way that we beat them deep? Well, I still decided that we should try it, and it didn't work. I know that's going to come as a massive surprise. Why is Bachman in the game? What happened to Von Meekins? Looks like it's just something with his elbow. He'll be back soon. We could also put a pad on him. But if we learn this lesson already this season, when he's injured, he doesn't play as well. This could be a mistake. On 3rd down, he takes the space. It says the only damage he's facing is -4 to his carry, so that doesn't seem like a big deal until he fumbles. And we put that elbow pad on him. I'm not willing to switch up unless he's really hurt. It's also his left elbow, so it's not even on his throwing arm. We got to get this first down, though, because the alternative was going to a quarterback sneak on 4th and inches. I hope this doesn't injure him further. Don't let him take a direct hit. We pick it up, though. I can't believe it. We said, do not fumble. Carrying is the only stat that's taken a hit. And, of course, he fumbles the first time he has an opportunity to. He's still getting a passing touchdown, though. Darren Gold finishes the drive. And how did we go from having one really good running back to another one immediately? We're pretty fortunate in that position. There are others where we haven't been as lucky, but it'll come over time. I feel like we could get back to this. Boys. Everyone in the stadium knew where that ball was going, besides Mafu, but he makes up for it with a user lurk a play later. So I can't even start to criticize the kid out of Hawaii whose last name I can't say. Why else do you think I've just called him Mafu the entire year? He gets the first name treatment, and that is about it. Are you kidding me? That should have been a touchdown, but we had a receiver riding us the entire way to the first down marker, so we didn't get far. But after we got out of our slump, UMass is starting to get in a rhythm. 2nd and 7, another run, this time for 3. Darren Gold's just got 22 on the ground so far, so that marker of needing about 100 to win, we got a long way to go. A lot of that can come off of one play, though, if the blocking just lines up right. And we might as well see if Florida bites off of the play action. Von Meekins with a very well-placed ball. So the offense continuing to just fly down the field. I'm loving everything that I am seeing from them. We're going to continue to go straight up the gut. Bo gets 8, though we still need to finish off the drive, and diving for it, we don't. I think the only response to that is just go in hurry up mode and finish it off right here. Or we could go with a quarterback sneak, Von Meekins. Actually, I think this is a horrible idea. Can we audible to anything? We might regret this. We might take an immediate sack, but I just refused to let him get hit. The last time we almost lost the football for good. And you know what? If Mafu gets another interception, then I'm just going to have to learn this kid's name. He gets the sack? You know what? It's about time he gets his respect. It is Tui Maune. I've probably added a white touch to that still butchers it, but it is what it is. Tui Maune making plays. And I got high expectations for us to get the Gators off of the field on 3rd and long, which we do. Junior Marco Sanders gets the sack, so we can receive this ball, keep it for the rest of the half, and make sure the Gators don't see it again. This could be our first win over the #1 team. We came close to it happening twice last year, but both times we ended up inevitably collapsing. So that actually just got me a little bit worried. We cannot let that happen again. On 3rd down, we simply just need enough time to get this ball out, and it's a great pass. It was just over the zone. Bryce Kroom was able to bring it in without facing any immediate pressure. So the drive continues. And Bryce Kroom's not open there, but there's plenty of space for Von Meekins to take off, and Von Meekins is at the 1. That's the fastest we've seen him his entire career. Hit the bubble screen and end this drive. We literally have a 21-0 lead on the #1 team in the country, and our fans are like silent. That is the one downside to where we play. They still just don't seem to care. And we did get lucky. The run before that one could have gone all the way if we didn't trip them up. Eventually, I expected Florida to just start passing, which they have. And while I'm thinking about it, while we're talking about what our stadium is, I wish as we got better, there was a way to upgrade it in Dynasty. I feel like that'd be a great feature to have. Because these stadiums are real, though, maybe they're licensed by EA, however that works. I'm not sure if you're able to do that, but next time I'm down there, probably for the launch of College Football 27, I gotta ask it. At the very least, if we could do it for team builder schools, or just have custom schools for team builder, I would love it. As you get better in a Dynasty, you want to feel that progression, you want to pour those resources in even more. We could go for a field goal here, but ultimately, why would we ruin all the momentum that we've had in this first half so far by throwing an interception or something? That is exactly what you don't want to happen. Luckily, they recovered that ball with 0 time left in the first half. They could have just gotten an easy 3. But you know what? That would track with how we typically end up collapsing in some of these games. Nothing open deep. Florida currently seeing if they can get anything going through the air. But they're going to have to pick up this 3rd and 5. And we're watching one of these slants. We're not going to be able to guard both of them. It's just off target. I really cannot believe how hard the Gators are selling at the moment. We're going to become bowl eligible, potentially, allegedly. Any other disclosure I need to throw out? We could still choke. I just don't want to put it past us, but we should be bowl eligible. And not just bowl eligible, but bowl eligible multiple games before we thought would be possible. With it being 3rd and 11, though, we're going to have to make a grab. What are you doing, Thad? The one time that he actually gets open on that route, he even had enough time to turn around and track the ball. He still doesn't catch it. This is why I cannot promise that we're going to win this game, because stuff just ends up happening. Now, for whatever reason, they still just cannot seem to complete a pass or run the football. So the odds are in our favor. Here on 3rd and 12, Tim Gold is the user. We've given up multiple spots they could throw it. Looks like he's going to try and scramble. But Kiki Okoro has been horrendous for the Gators, and that's fine. I'm just genuinely shocked this team is undefeated. It's not like he's their backup or anything. He has been starting all season for them. We have nowhere to run the ball. So this is about to be another quick 3 and out, especially if we just throw a pick straight to them. He was waiting on it, and this is where they get on the board. No, we still have to make them work for those points, and that's what we have done. It's not ideal because ideally they wouldn't have even gotten there in the first place, but JP Powell finishes it off. And what did I say? We need 100 rushing yards with Darren Gold. He has to start running effectively again. He's only got 50 in this game. Florida has started to really shut him down, but Bryce Kroom says, I'll take care of this. And with one more run, we should be able to get things into the 4th quarter. It's about to be a long 7 minutes. We're going to try and keep the ball for as long as we possibly can. Next week, undefeated Penn State comes here. But let's say we do finish out this game, we'd have an opportunity to beat back-to-back #1 teams in this stadium. All of a sudden, though, 3rd and 10, we had a planned route we wanted to throw last time. We didn't hear. We just ran and scrambled. Chucking it up at the final second, hoping for the best. And you know what? It worked out. But they went with man-to-man. We were never going to complete that pass. They're also trying to get in on Darren. He's just a little bit too elusive for that. We pull it on 3rd down, and we're going to have to kick. Ben Nava can end this game right here, or at least put it out of reach for the Gators. It would be 17, and it is. Florida needs to do a lot in a short amount of time, and the only reason they're even on the board at the moment is because we threw a pick. They just don't seem like they have any sense of urgency here, except there it is. There it is. They threw up a 50-50 ball, and they watched us get turned around. I mean, that was just way too easy for Florida. And I just tried to throw that ball to Bryce Kroom. It was the same play he got a big one off of a second ago. But it didn't work. 3rd down. I don't see anything. Von Meekins, you're going to have to get that first yourself. He should have fumbled. But because he didn't, now Florida's going to have to start using their timeouts, and they are not in a good position to win this one. We've basically just taken care of business at this point, and it being marked as a 3rd and inches is even better. All we need is to get across, and after doing that, there is literally nothing the Gators can do. I love how streaky this team has been. When they're hot, they're incredible. And keep in mind, if we could have just finished things out against Duke, this would only be a 3-loss team. With Von Meekins' 1 interception, he shouldn't have won player of the game. I really thought it should have gone to junior free safety Mafu Tuamanune, but it's fine. Maybe his performance inspired another defensive player to commit. That's a lot of the guys that are left on our board. And for the independent schools, he did win defensive player of the week. We have unfortunately fallen to 2nd place though, behind Boston College, trying to compete for this other linebacker. We can't hard sell, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to win there. I also don't know if we can close out some of these other battles. This class is going to seem so small, but you know what? With our championship contender grade currently being a B+, it's literally got us ranked 21st in the country due to how tough our schedule is. Maybe other players are open to coming here now. We're going to have to look through each state to see what our options are, but we could get a 2-star center. Not that he's going to help us much. It would just give us a little bit more depth, and while I'm thinking about it, I can finally show you all what I forgot to at the beginning of this video. So there was this 5-star from New Hampshire, a state that typically has no recruits, but we were locked out from the start. And then in Rhode Island, another state in the Northeast that typically has like 0 prospects, there was a 4-star 6'4" speedster receiver. It stunk we weren't able to go after those guys, but revisiting our board, I love seeing more guys that care about championship contender we can put hours into. Though I quickly discovered that there were multiple of these guys that were busts, so we could offer them scholarships, but I'm just not sure how many of these guys we want for more than depth. I also just thought about checking if we're receiving any top 25 votes, which we are. Even though we're 6-4, because our schedule is so tough, we are receiving 12 top 25 votes. And so even if the odds of it happening are very slim, if we beat both Penn State and UConn to finish out the year, we could be a top 25 team. Penn State's coming off of a loss, so we don't have the opportunity to beat 2 #1 teams at home back to back. They also have a 96 overall running back. He's got platinum sidestep, but he's not that quick. They also have that 97 overall tight end, and you might have seen me scroll straight past the 99 speed backup running back. I don't think he's anyone we're going to have to worry about too much, or anyone here. Plus, their starting quarterback is just an 82 overall. This is a good sign. To give us a little extra help before we head into that matchup, we have some coach points to spend. I think I'm actually going to just go down to tier 3 motivator. We're not going to get to tier 4 yet, but soon most of our offense is going to start the 4th quarter hot if we're in a close game. The trajectory of this season has been all over the place, but we're on a winning streak, and I can hear our chant going on before we take this first snap that Darren Gold gets 8 on. There's actually some life to this crowd that is starting to show up to these games. We got a full stadium. I'm not sure if our impact a stadium pulse is going to make a huge effect on it, but look at Darren Gold, another big gain. 38 rushing yards already, and you know what that means. If we can just get another 62, we should feel pretty good about winning. We didn't even need 100 rushing yards out of him last week to come out on top. They've boxed everything, but we still get the first. And I think our offense really flows well whenever we don't have to go on the road and deal with the negative impacts of stadium pulse. 2nd and 8, we are going to go 5 wide, and we're just going to hit Cam Lock immediately, who takes it to the 8. And Penn State is not going to be able to guard Thad Wade for the touchdown. That was just way too easy for us. I don't want to get cocky or confident because we don't know what this offense is capable of. Our pregame scouting just made me feel pretty good about it. I've got a feeling, though, there's going to be a lot of running, lots of passes to tight ends. And that's why we got to get guys down low and be able to make those 1st or 2nd tackles. Unfortunately, the only way I see us getting them off the field on 3rd down was through a blitz. And we're just going to have to send another one here, but they were prepared for it. We miss our first tackle, and that bit of acceleration is nuts. 36 is Steven Stovia, though. That's their 99 speed running back that I warned us about. They had a lot of sets with 2 running backs on the field, so I guess he is going to play a lot. Defense might just not show up for either team in this game. Rolling out, we got that. And can you imagine if we had some receivers that could beat the press? That would make things so much easier. They have not been easy to come by in the Northeast, though. Everybody we seem to recruit has like 0 speed on them, even running backs. But the more this dynasty goes on, the less I'm believing that speed is everything. I've seen a lot of impact players not be the fastest guys on the field so far. Like, I feel in most football games in the past, 87 speed would have been set up for failure. But it hasn't been for Darren Gold. He's been great. He can also get a lot faster. His speed is uncapped, so I'm excited to see what the offseason could look like for him. We got to throw this curl. That was always the plan. And I'm just hoping they don't stick with Brian Nat, but it was not run well. It's going to be 4th and goal, and it feels like we have no option but to throw. What are we doing? I'm having my editor pop up the pre-play thing right now because it said we were throwing, but clearly we weren't. So I guess Penn State's just going to get a stop on the 2. I was literally trying to immediately scramble. It just wasn't possible. That's so annoying. Actually, though, the more I think back on it, it could be my fault. I was hot routing and I put the wrong route on the field. So I might have reset the play. And by doing that, we came out in inside zone. So I just wasn't thinking. It reset it back to the inside zone, not the original pass play. I really wanted to blame EA and flame them for that, but it was actually my mistake the more that I think about it. They're at the 10, by the way, and it's just been easy. Way too easy for them to get down the field until now. Alejandro Jimenez rarely shows up, but when he does, it's big. And the defensive tackle is just one of the many players that are going to be a senior for us next year and only have a couple years left. I cannot believe, though, instead of taking their hitch route there, they actually forced it into that window with 2 guys on it. Penn State goes up by 7 points, and we're not going anywhere. Looks like they're going to have a cover 6 shell as well. But Cam Lock takes advantage. That was the right side to do that on, and we set the protection so we could just roll out, immediately hit Enrique. But he had somebody trailing on him the entire play. 3rd down, last time we ran the stretch play, it went for like 20 yards. This time, it'll get about 10. And I'm pretty sure Darren Gold is going to be at 100 rushing yards after this play. He's having a great first half. This definitely puts him above that total. 15 rushes for 100 yards to be precise. And I think we're going to get Penn State fooled here. We didn't throw it there, but we're going to dive with Vaughn. And we fumbled on the 1. We actually just fumbled that ball away. I thought we could make it into the end zone. It's so pointless. We've done this like 4 times this year where I just challenge a play knowing that there's no way we're going to get it overturned. But he just lost it at the last second as he was falling down. Maybe his knee was on the ground. Here's the thing, though. This is the angle that's going to do it. The call is going to stand. He had a little bit of space before his knee was down. Looks like the ball might still be in his hand. Hang on. And I'm just tracking this about as close as I can. It's not going to make a difference. The refs already made their decision. He drops it about right there. It's Penn State football with 46 seconds left in this first half. And they have a touchdown. They have a touchdown. Why do they have a running back as their slot receiver? Oh, it's because he has 99 speed. That's why. For how well it felt like we were playing in this game, to be down by 14 is super disheartening. It's been 2 drives that we just haven't been capable of finishing out. And there is no reason for Von Meekins to not hit that throw. He's going to step up and just throw a pick because for whatever reason, Cam Lock doesn't put his hands up. No. Do not let him get out of that. This is actually a disaster. Penn State could find themselves in field goal range. They won't. But still, there's just so many opportunities in this half that didn't go how they had to. I feel like it should be so much closer than it currently is. I hope we get ball to start the second, especially since we are equal in yards. We have more time of possession, but we did get ball first. I'm remembering that now. Thankfully, he didn't take that out. 36 isn't on the field for this play either, so we aren't in full danger, but we might need to start double teaming him. He better not be coming around for a jet touch pass. I thought we were about to get in with Tim Gold. And here on first down, corner route was there. We are literally sitting on that ball, but it won't matter. Things are not meant to go our way this week the way they were last. I'm really hoping for the best on 3rd and long. We did win some pressure, but that is a solid punt. Starting from the 7-yard line, we got to march 93 yards down the field. And there aren't too many Penn State defenders over on this side. Pitch it out. Darren Gold needs to step on the gas here. For a second, he almost did. Penn State also bringing in 6. Do we have room? Unfortunately, we did not. Their cover 0 worked wonders for him. But I'm staring at Thad Wade. I thought he was going to be more open than he was. So he still managed to find a way to catch that football. I mean, that was impressive on his part. Cutting this one back, we got 8 yards. And is this the moment where Cam Lock gets free? It's not. Our slant isn't even there. We're going to take off with Von Meekins. We're going to make someone miss, or at least attempt to do it. And I don't even know who Stringer is, but we have just told him to go on a comeback route. We might as well go underneath to Darren Gold. No mistakes this far down the field, though. I mean, that's what has crushed us. We are clearly able to play with the Nittany Lions at the very least. And Darren Gold has a gaping hole to run through the next play. It's like they're begging us to continue running the ball. 3 defensive linemen. What did they think was going to happen? They have so many guys dropped off right now, and we're just going to throw it to the outside, let him dive for the end zone, and then get the easiest passing touchdown of all time. Have they not watched any tape? Just like that, it is a 7-point game. Can Penn State please make one mistake? It's all we're asking for. I cannot stress enough how game-changing it would be for us, especially in the transfer portal, to finish with 8 wins. With our bowl game, it could even potentially be 9 wins. I hope our bowl opponent turns out to be someone easier. And to open up this fourth quarter, Penn State's dropping back, but they have the first. We just didn't cover well there. I was hoping they'd go back to this part of the field. Maybe we could lurk them. I need to point out that Penn State's quarterback has 300 passing yards now. He also has 3 touchdowns with no picks, so being an 82 overall didn't make a difference. Granted, a lot of that has come off of the back of a 99 speed running back at receiver, but still, he has been a pain to face. On 2nd and goal, we're just watching the dragon. That was just out of reach. Those are the plays that you're not going to be able to forget at night. Awful vision. The funniest part about all of this is it could also cause them to miss this field goal, but it is so deserved because we had multiple drives not finish how we need it. Darren Gold, I'm gonna need you to spin the correct way next time. Our halfback screen is box, and we got to pick up at least half of this here, or else it's going to be very challenging to pick up a 4th down. Well, it's simple. We're either going to Thad Wade, or if it's man-to-man coverage, I was going to go to our comeback route, but Penn State gets a free rusher in. Now, this is where I should probably figure out what our pass protection looked like pre-play. I wish it was just standard. We clearly did not have our left tackle picking anybody up, and they might as well score. Wait, actually, if we could keep them on a hash mark but not get into the end zone, they might miss another field goal. So that's the new goal. They just got stopped on the 1, though, and then we fell for the read option. So there it is. We're down by 2 possessions with 2 minutes left against Penn State. We need a lot to go our way. We also need Von Meekins to not make any mistakes, which is asking a lot. Even that throw was a little bit behind where we wanted it. And why are we running a read option? That was not the play call that we had. This is where you just take your shot down the field, try and make a play on the ball, but it deflects straight into their hands. So Penn State is going to do it against us. It is what it is. I think we all know that we competed far more than the score shows. We could have won that game. And I'm afraid we're still giving up too many passing yards to keep any of our defensive backs from transferring. Playing style can be such a frustrating deal breaker. You know what's more frustrating, though? Trying to stop Nigel Tubbs. This is our 3rd straight season of playing him. And even though we've beat the Huskies the last 2 times, we know that he is a beast. They still have all of these special teamers. And Jacob Bell is still their quarterback, too. This is the one team that besides Terrence Smith, we feel like we can run man-to-man coverage against them. So we're looking to walk into our rival stadium, pick up a win, and finish the regular season 7-5. It's a very winnable one for us, but I have noticed there is not snow coming down this time. And I hope that we're able to beat them by even more than we did last season. We actually felt like we were in control of that game. Currently, the all-time series is tied up 40-40. So we're trying to take the lead, but they're on it. 2nd down, right back to Darren Gold. We're going to see if he can get loose over on the sideline. And I'm just waiting for the moment that we get to send up a 50-50 ball to Cam Lock. They have not pressed him yet. Von Meekins is going to just step up here to move the chains. And this is how other teams must feel whenever they face us and they're trying to move the football. It almost feels like we can do no wrong. We are just running so effectively at the moment. And to the outside, I don't see a single player in sight. That is exactly what we wanted. They got a running back as their slot receiver, so it's the same thing we ran into against Penn State. I thought they might have tried to force it to him. I mean, it does make sense. Those are the 2 best players on this roster. We can pass commit after seeing the guy in motion. We knew the pass was coming, but we also got the sack. I'm so used to us just not getting in that amount of time, it kind of threw me off. This is about to be a huge gain, just not enough. You see how well we feel about facing off against UConn? It feels like we're actually in control. There's no stress. It's one of the most fun teams we play all year, and it's a rival, which makes it even better. Darren Gold with the biggest run of the season for him. He typically can't outrun defenses, but what a special year he's finishing out with. This is 100% becoming my favorite way that we get to end every season, especially since quarterback Jacob Bell just got injured on that run. UConn, though, putting up some numbers. That's why Nigel Tubbs is the one player that I'm worried about. Let's see if this backup quarterback just throws us a pick, though. Go ahead. I know you want to test it. 3 straight 1st down runs. Maybe things aren't going to be as simple and nice as we were thinking. You got to throw a pick, though. You got to throw a pick to Scipio. Get a pick 6. Get a pick 6. It's so rare that we get this talent gap, but we have it in our favor, and Cam Lock isn't getting that much separation, but he gets enough. And as long as he has a little step, he's getting in. When you have faced off against some of the best programs in the country for 10 of your games, getting to round out the season like this is the greatest feeling possible, and we knew where the ball was going. We just couldn't get there. Man-to-man coverage actually going really bad. Going really bad. UConn's at the 4. Kenny Williams with back-to-back catches to set them up. No run in. But are we going to be able to hold the Huskies to a field goal? That's the real question. You're going to get your answer at the start of the second quarter. And they were not ever going to run this. It was a pass. We were out there, but Tubbs gets in. It's unfortunate, but you would imagine a team that just came out pressing Cam Locke, giving up a touchdown to him, wouldn't press him to start this drive. I feel like that last play was a fluke and he just didn't get the separation that we wanted. I'm willing to take that chance, but he isn't there. So getting a little cocky could cost us. On third down, Von Meekins just needs to set his feet, and we're going to have a large gain. But typically, we don't get pockets like that. We're going to take off with Darren, too. He slowed himself down. But still, we can't complain about getting 9 yards. And if Bo is looking this solid on the ground, that's when you know that someone's run defense is straight garbage. We should have gotten more than that. 8 carries for 133 yards for Darren Gold, and I'm still not satisfied. It took Cam Locke a little bit longer to get open than I was thinking, but there's a flag on the play, so it's a free one for us, and we drop it into his hands. It was against Connecticut like we all predicted. I'm sure they jumped offside. So we're just going to decline this. Cam Locke gets another, and that is a ball that I would typically never even attempt to throw, but Von Meekins is on one today. They are not. I can't believe they even attempted that. It was never going to work. Immediate scramble or another drop. And so Connecticut needs this 3rd and long, and they're just going to take up a deep shot again over to that side of the field. We're good. All we really need to do from here is just make sure we close out this first half with 1 more score. And then I think we'll be good for the rest of this game to close it out. And Cam Locke's gone again. He literally only is 90 speed. He's a great route runner, but I still didn't think he would make it look that easy. Seam is open, but we get the sack. This is turning into a humiliation ritual for UConn. I mean, our run blocking is so good, and they just look helpless out there. I don't know how they fell off this hard, but they look terrible. We might as well get 1 more touchdown before we reach the end of this quarter. Thad Wade is going for the highlight play. He hurdles 1 defender, but he can't make it in. And I can't believe he even pulled out the hurdle in the first place. Dive over everybody. You know, I feel like Cam Locke needs another receiving touchdown. He isn't open, though, until the last second. He actually got that. And in the second half, we just took our foot off the gas. We took it really light on UConn. There was no reason to score 100. We didn't need to have any injuries. We were already up by so much. This is the most passing touchdowns I think Von Meekins has thrown for in a game. 216 rushing yards. It's the most rushing yards Darren Gold has ever had. Might be the most receiving yards Cam Locke's ever had. And look at that. Our playing style has apparently become good enough for some of our defensive backs because they want to return for their senior year. I cannot stress enough how important that is, but we did lose our defensive coordinator. In the real world, that could cause us to lose some players. I don't think that's happening here. What bowl game are we going to get? It's against Duke. We have to play the Blue Devils again? I would love to know the explanation behind making us face the number 11 team in the country as an unranked program. I mean, Duke was the first team out. They're probably salty that they didn't get in, but they're not going to opt out of the bowl game. And you know what? I'm all for this. They saw how much of a classic the last one was. They wanted to give us a shot at revenge against the Blue Devils, so this bowl game will mean something. But I have to say, I am very disappointed in what defensive coordinators are available to us. I guess we're just going to hire Alex Carmen for now. I'm not sure how long he'll stay. And I went to check out our recruiting board where I saw Boston College caused us to lose that linebacker. They caused us to lose a 3-star defensive tackle, a 3-star athlete that was also going to play on our defensive line. So we literally have just 5 commits before we get to the transfer portal period. Notre Dame's also entered this battle late, so that's another guy that we might not secure. But for the ones we have, we're seeing normal development, we're seeing normal development, we're seeing normal development, we're seeing normal and normal. I think it's safe to say not a single one of those 3 stars excite me, and if we want to make sure that some of our defensive backs don't transfer out, then we need to hold Duke to very few passing yards in this game. It's pretty exciting that we have made it to our first bowl, but because it's a bowl game, most of those are played down south. The Holiday Bowl is out in San Diego, so there's not going to be snow. We're going to get rain instead against the Blue Devils. And I'm hoping that this just helps us run the ball better. The last time we faced Duke, we weren't that effective at running, and they are going to just throw it first play. They pass for a lot of their plays. But they also had the option to keep things on the ground. Second down, why would they spin into a tackle? I feel like EA said the ball carrier vision on this game got better, but I'm not seeing it. Third down, we can't even look over on that side. Ultimately, though, we tackled them short, and Alfonso Tutt just let the ball bounce over his head. He couldn't track it in the rain, which is frustrating. But I'd much rather start a drive on the 10 than have him fumble it back to the Blue Devils. Sure seems like their 95 overall linebacker is not opting out of this bowl game either. He wants to play, which is fine. It's just going to make it more challenging on third down. Thad Wade is open. He spins around 2 defenders. He made a miss again. And it didn't take him anywhere, but it was fun to watch him just spin anyway. My theory is we're probably going to be able to just hit our drag to Brian underneath. But they didn't let us. It's third down. We had to get that one out fast to Bryce Kroom. And I thought it was going to be swatted down by the defensive line. We cut this right. We could have turned it into more. Lots of potential explosive moments in this game so far, though. This won't be one of them. On 2nd and 7, we got a wide receiver screen off of our back foot, but they're on it. I guess we should have known that we weren't about to fool a 95 overall linebacker. You can't drop that ball. You just can't. It's now 4th and 8. This is why I didn't want Enrique Catran in the slot. Is he going to drop back-to-back passes? Because I'm expecting him to get open. It's intercepted. It's intercepted by Duke. And the whole reason we didn't even kick there is it said we weren't going to make it due to the rain. This is just setting up to be one of those games that it is very hard to come by any points. But I am annoyed that we weren't able to catch what should have been a first down, and we just left him open. I really don't want to lose to Duke twice this season. I know we're capable of beating them. We want to prove it, but these whiff tackles, 2 of them on one play, are not helping. They're starting to get some momentum on the ground, and it's going to continue. But at least the end of the first quarter gives us a break. We're going to come out with a blitz here. We've tried to get in quick, but they had a hitch down there. So they got another first down that Josh Smith was almost able to turn into a touchdown. If they're not running here, we're in trouble, but they did. And we have set our quarterback contain on the field. They went with the halfback screen. We're diving for the tackle. That has resulted in a 4th and inches. This better be a run, and it is. It is. We're going to have to march 97 yards down the field, but it doesn't seem that bad whenever we're able to slip out of there with gold. Can we get him to get a speed boost at some point? I mean, he's still evading these defenders, but eventually he gets tracked down, and we got to bring in Bo. Bo's going to take this stretch, and he is going to walk in. So there you have it. What a turnaround. Just a few plays, and we are in complete control of this game. That's the type of stuff that happened the last time we played, except it was the other way around. It felt like we were just going to pick up the win, and then Duke made a couple plays that changed everything. I think the best thing that we can do is continue to have quarterback contains out there on the field. The throw on the run just fits between those zones. And you have to give credit where credit's due. That was a very good throw. On 2nd and 9, we were creeping up forward. Looks like we're going to give up the post again. They keep on getting us. And I was just kind of curious. Would we have the speed to beat them deep? Turns out the answer is no. But somehow Darren Gold is making that catch. I mean, that play was over before it started. On 3rd down, they're going with cover 1, and Cam Locke is open. Cam Locke is able to run underneath it. And it might be even better that he got tackled because we can be a little bit more conscious of the clock. However, so is Duke as they call a timeout. And Von Meekins just immediately rolls out. He doesn't want to throw the drag because it was guarded. But we get our touchdown, and they just got that handoff off. 2nd and 5. They aren't going to run it again. They're going to go for something underneath. And I think we got it all box, making it 3rd and 5. Can we get our pressure in, or at least wrap up here? In my opinion, it's worth it to call a timeout. That's going to leave us with 67 seconds left in this half to get even more points. And opening it up, we got a huge play out of Thad Wade. He beat the corner. He turns up the field, and he is unstoppable. That right there is the danger of cover 0. You're not going to take that first drag. You can have the second one. And they are sure feeling the pressure of feeling like they need to get points before the end of this half. No timeouts left now, and they continue to run. So at first they came out wanting to spike the ball, but then they actually called a play, and we just sat on that. Here we go, 3rd and 9. Need to make sure that we don't give up anything too big, but that's what we've done. That's exactly what we have done. Thankfully, the Blue Devils are just going to have to spike it here and then kick a field goal. But still, it's more passing yards we've given up in this game. It's more points than I wanted them to get, but at least we're still up by 11. We also have 156 rushing yards. With the ball to start this 3rd quarter, we want more of those. And as long as we can make sure their one linebacker doesn't get to us, I thought we'd be set to get a big gain there, but we weren't. Now we're going to look for Catran on 3rd down. I felt like the curl would be open, except it wasn't. So it was a fast 3 and out to open up this second half. The punt went almost nowhere. That's the rain being so heavy, it's affecting special teams. This is exactly what Duke wanted. I cannot state how annoying it is to just know that the second we get to the 3rd quarter, all that we have done through the first 2 goes out the window because one way or another, they get back into the game. I feel like that's happened to us 4 or 5 times this season, but we live with it, and we can still capitalize and have some success. I'm kind of betting on Duke just staying in cover 1 here and then going with a deep shot, but we didn't actually take it because Von Meekins saw an opportunity to run. But Duke is not going away from cover one. It keeps saying they're in it. Field general, staying is one of the most effective abilities you can have, and we're just going to have to go underneath. That's not good, though. It's 3rd and 12. We know that we're not kicking a field goal from far away either. And once again, we have another drive that just isn't going to end successfully. This is the exact same story of what happened the first time that we played Duke. We just didn't come out in the second half well. And their offense has clearly figured things out. Here on 2nd and 11, we're going to have to get over the middle, and we just got outrun, outrouted too. The Blue Devils deserve to get the first down, and it's just consistency on the ground that's crushing us. They're picking up like 4 or 5 yards, then they get in these spots where they can just dot us up. We shouldn't have brought a safety down. I am a little bit surprised that they're kicking now. I guess they didn't want to chase points, but what has happened to our offense? There they go again. Solid run D. If Darren doesn't hit that hole perfectly, we know exactly what is going to happen. And I've been thinking about it. Can they fall for a play like this? We'll have the comeback if we don't go for the post. And we're going to run it here, or we're going to have the slant to Cam Lock. Now that we've thrown it on back-to-back first downs, we'll come out and run. It wasn't there, though. On 2nd down, we just avoided what would have been a major loss. But Meekins really just sold. So we needed this catch from Wade. I guess we did have a couple really big plays on offense that have led to some of our points. So it's not like we've worked down the field a bunch. Our offense wasn't on fire and then completely went away in the second half, but that's what it felt like. I'm also noticing how many passing yards the Blue Devils have. We really need to slow that down in the 4th quarter, or else we will lose transfers. And that all starts right here. It's almost good news whenever they decide to run it against us instead of throw. It's not good news if we can't stop the run in the first place, though. We're waiting on an RPO to just bite. We can't continue to sit in Tampa 2 and expect to stop the run, though. They're in. They are in. All that explosiveness we had in the first half has gone straight to Duke. Surely we can make this stop. But our offense did not get much of a break. They're right back out there on the field again. And how well are we about to block 32? That was the one player I was worried about there. I do think it's best if we go back to this formation. That's what a lot of our big plays just came out of. But Duke has us on a 3rd and 6. First read is going to be Cam Lock. If he gets open, which he does, it's on him to catch it. If he wasn't open there, I don't know what to tell you. Another play action. Another throw that's not on target. Von Meekins is really selling at the moment, but at least we can still run effectively. You know that we got to switch it up whenever Bo comes into the game, though. He can't get too many carries for us, so Thad Wade gets 1 touch. He gets a 2nd touch, and nobody on Duke thought it'd be a good idea to guard him on that part of the field. Still 3 minutes left, so most likely Blue Devils are going to get this football back, especially with Von Meekins cutting it up like that. Thankfully, he did not fumble the ball, because why would we even slide? It's like we forget to ever do that. Here's where things get interesting, though. Do we want to score a touchdown immediately? It's going to give Duke 2 minutes. And for the 2-point conversion, I am putting a lot of faith in a halfback screen that we are still not succeeding on. Kicking it to the sideline, I felt like we'd be in a better position to wrap up. I'm trying to learn from when we have given up returns. 4 touchdowns. This cannot be happening again. It just cannot be happening. We are getting smoked on the ground by Gil Gator, and there's the pass through the air. I mean, it's such a filthy move. What can I even say? I'm almost impressed by it. I want to get his autograph, even though we should be upset. That was crazy. You just can't make this up, though. How stupid is the AI? Why are they kicking an extra point when they clearly need to go for 2 to make it a 3-point game? Kicking that extra point literally does nothing for them. We've got over the middle Bryce Kroom, but he just drops the ball. These are the issues I have with him. We say something positive, then he goes and really messes up on 3rd down. Thad Wade drops it too, and the rain cannot be doing this to us right now. I will throw this ball to Bryce Kroom. I will expect him to get open. And our hopes of winning our first bowl game are still alive. Not just in this series, but ever since moving up to FBS, UMass has never won a bowl game. So this is a major deal for the program. We still got 39 seconds left on the clock, and it's our superstar tight end, Thad Wade, that gets open. Duke is starting to feel the pressure now because they've called a timeout themselves. But they didn't use a second one, so maybe they're kind of confident with where we're currently sitting on the field. What we're going to do is we're just going to hand this one off. We're going to center things up for our field goal. And then we're going to call a timeout with 3 seconds left. Of course, I'm expecting Duke to ice us, which they did. So I didn't even start to attempt kicking. And this is it. In the pouring rain for the Minutemen to win their first bowl game in school history, The Holiday Bowl is coming home to UMass, and it's a great feeling. We did this with 10 top 25 teams on our schedule, a season of 8-5. It really makes you wonder, with another season, what are these guys capable of that don't transfer? I think we know that Von Meekins is going to stay around because he just cares about playing time. He threw 14 picks this season, which might still sound like a lot, but if you compare it to the 23 he threw the year before, he basically flipped his interception and touchdown totals. And he also rushed for 356 yards on the ground with 8 touchdowns. Now, Darren Gold had the best season a running back has had since we took over the Minutemen. The best part about him, which is why I'm really excited for the offseason, is the 5'9" running back still has another 2 years with us. We'll see how much he develops. Then we have our number 1 receiver with 59 receptions, Thad Wade, the sophomore tight end. He might want to transfer in the future. He cares about proximity to home. It's a little scary, but basically our entire receiving core is returning. When we look at our sack leaders, Marco Sanders still wants to transfer away, but that's fine. What I cared more about was our defensive back staying on this team, and when Adrian Tuttle had 4 picks this year, we knew he was special. I think as we head into the players leaving section, there are 7 players that could transfer, but it's not a guarantee all of them will. And right before we do that, I just want to mention that Florida lost in the national championship to Michigan. We beat that Florida team. As for the guys that want to get out of here, I don't blame any of them. Like Anton Slavin, he was hoping to get playing time when he came, and he didn't. We have literally failed every persuasion so far. We couldn't even get Alex Babcock to come back. But he had 84 speed as a corner, so it is what it is. OG has graduated. We're also losing Garrett Cooper, who was an incredible center for us. Christian Shylans wasn't on the field much, but he did have an impact in previous seasons. Same for Brian Nat. He just didn't get out there. Donald Van Manen, he never did either. And as much as I hated on backups Mitch John and Bo McCormick III, both of them are graduating, so we'll see who steps up to that role next season. We still have yet to have anybody good enough to be drafted into the NFL, but our school prestige has jumped up to 2.5 stars. We also are getting a lot better school grades. Besides stuff like stadium atmosphere, we're still not getting May fans to show out. But that's just the way it is. With our coach prestige up to a C+, we're going to start to be able to get more transfers. We got this defensive tackle out of Connecticut, and anytime I see somebody from Boston College, we're just going to add them to our board, because if we can take away one of our rivals' guys and make sure they're not facing us next year, that's always going to help a ton. It also looks like we can convince some of our own players to return if we want them to. Marco Saunders made an impact, so we might as well. And after 1 week, I am stoked to say that there are 9 players on our board that we've jumped up to first place on, or we're going to jump up at the first place on. We offered them a scholarship. Nobody else wants them. So those should be locks, but for some of these other guys, we're going to have to win out the recruiting battles. I would love to stay in first place on a 4-star edge. These guys are going to be a little bit more of a challenge, though. For a lot of them, I'm not even sure I can guess their hard sell, or if we do, it won't matter because our grades aren't good enough. Though for Nick Quigley, we know he cares about playing time, and we unlocked his 2 other interests, so we are guaranteed to get his hard sell down correctly. Now we got to stack up the perfect amount of visits in week 4. And that involves linebackers, that involves defensive tackles. That is when they're all coming to town. I think we're going to end up locking up most of the prospects that we were going after. There's the commitment out of the 4-star. He's going to be a senior. But if you were paying attention, most of the transfers that we just signed were not skill positions at all. It was just big bodies up front on both sides of the ball that's going to help take our team to the next level. And it stinks to see a couple of them choose a school like Wisconsin, but Wisconsin's got a better track record. Penn State, better track record. Kentucky, hopefully, is a better track record in the future. And the dev traits of some of these guys look so much better than what we've been witnessing. Hunter Cushenberry, he's got star dev on the edge. We also got a right tackle with star. Those were the high school prospects we signed. For the transfers, it was just a bunch of normal and impact. No huge game breakers there, and this could be the lowest rated class we've brought in at number 44. The Northeast wasn't too kind to us this year, but we lost those recruiting battles fair and square. We could not get them to choose our school. And there have been other years where we've gotten 4 and 5 stars out of high school. Now, Jason Bachman did not transfer. He stayed for his senior year, thinking he's going to take the job away from Von Meekins. I don't see how that's possible. It'd also be nice if we had one more running back over here, at least until I remembered that we signed a guy with star dev and elite dev last season. Glenn Biggers should develop a ton here in a second. I'm excited to see some of these stats just max out. And for our receiving room, well, it's going to take a major step back after Cam Locke and Bryce Kroom graduate next season. It's a little worrying, but not as worrying as the fact that a lot of our defense will also be graduating at the end of the year. We do see a dev trait upgrade for Darren Gold. I think it was well deserved. He goes up to impact, and he'll have another season to progress. 88 speed now instead of 87. Elusiveness, not even sure that got better. So I'm not really sure what changed, but I think our backup is going to have to be Bradley Soto. Then we have Von Meekins becoming an 85 overall. His accuracy did go up, just not not very much. His throw power increased by 1. His speed also went up by 2, so he's not worrying about the right things. But it's okay. I'm excited to see our receiving room progressing a little bit more. At the tight end position, Thad Wade, now an 86. And I think Nick Quigley should get drafted into the NFL alongside Cam Locke. This is the best the roster has looked. Every single year, the roster gets a little bit better. But defensive back-wise, you all know how grim it has been some seasons for us. So now that it looks like this, the fact that we have a freshman free safety with elite development, that's nice to see. We got strong safeties to choose between. We actually have some depth to work with for Von Meekins to continue to develop and get better with. The team overall is going to be an 84. And as we prepare for season 5, I'm not even sure where to set the expectation because I felt like we really overachieved this year, but maybe we can do even better. Maybe we do about the same. I don't know. You all let me know what you expect in the comments. I'll see you all then.